All right, here we go then. So, I liked the way we started out last week asking everybody how you're doing. So, we'll start. Filbert, how you doing? Oh, never mind. Thanak.
So do you guys remember how stressed out Thanik was because everybody kept dying last week? Well, now he's even more stressed out because somebody's missing.
Hey, but look on the bright side. We didn't all almost die last week.
I feel like no, I guess we. But yeah, somebody's missing. So
someone was saving you fools.
Yeah.
I feel like you just put up that meme. Yes, but did you die?
That's so funny. Yep. Othig. How's Othig doing? Now that stuff's going on, Filbert's missing. How are you feeling, man?
He's fine.
He's fine.
Not to sound like, I don't want to minimize the situation, but I think, he's obviously concerned, but probably not to the extent that Thanak is. I think he more feels like, well, he's a young man. He has to grow up. I don't know. I guess it's kind of more that tough love thing that I was talking about in chat before. Like, I feel like his character would kind of be there. It's not like he's not concerned, but
but you don't care about her, bro.
He's not. Well, he's definitely not losing sleep over it. He's not.
That's awesome. That's fine.
He went to go and find out and ask some questions and got them to comment about that's so funny. That interesting things are happening, and he would agree with that statement because there's a lot of things that have happened that Othig is just like, that's messed up, and he's just gonna leave it at that because he just doesn't know how to handle it. And this is just another one of those things where it's like, and especially like I feel like as a commoner, I'm just trying to play the character here, but like what can he do? He doesn't know what he can do. He doesn't know.
That's fair. Mav, your little brother's missing. How are you feeling about that, man?
You're
He's
muted.
muted. You're muted, man.
Mav compares with Othig.
That you just think he's gotten himself into something dumb and he'll be fine and he'll get out of it?
Yeah. Like, it's Philbert. Like, he's following some fairy tale, got himself into trouble again, and we're gonna go bail him out again. But we'll do it.
Right on.
His family.
All right. Fair enough. So, Othig and Mav, you're pretty calm about the missing Filbert. For those who are actually listening in, Filbert made some decisions during his downtime this week on Discord that ended differently than I expected. So I am going to let you guys know that the adventure I had planned got deeply altered due to a certain character's actions.
Really?
Really.
I was half wondering, but I figured it was at the result of a certain Filbert.
And I think it's just a good lesson as we move forward here that if you do things in a certain fashion during your downtime and we're not recording or playing a game, that it still has consequences.
I'm all for it.
So just so you guys know, moving forward.
Way to go, Tony.
Yeah. So
I had no part in that.
Oh, yeah.
to be fair, I'm also going to say if you haven't gotten any sleep and it's super early in the morning, it's probably not the right time to be making decisions.
Well, there you go.
I've been in anxiety-fueled insomniac for the last 4 days. I've literally cleaned my house from top to bottom, except for the rooms other people live in, including my garage enough that I can fit my Jeep in it.
No, you did. Wow. Holy
Yup.
cow. That hasn't happened since you guys moved in.
Nope.
Wow.
I could build a boat in my basement. That's how clean it is.
When you cause your character to be the first the first PC death of the game, story driven.
Yeah.
Right, and when it happened mid,
Ooh, Adam,
Sorry,
you're.
you were robot-y.
Yep.
when it happens midweek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get at this then. So the opening scene looks like this. War horns blare, and war gongs sound off as armies clash upon one another, spears against shield, spears piercing flesh. Dust clouds are kicked up by the hundreds of trampling feet and beating hooves of horses. Griffin riders plunge to the attack, sweeping over the enemy ranks. One of them takes a spear to the chest and tumbles from the air, crashing into the opposing forces. Dust continues to fill the air, obscuring the view, so that you can no longer see the actual battle. But you can hear the screams. It's not that far away. And then the battle moves into the streets just outside. And then you hear someone at the door. So we open our game tonight with Filbert missing. It has been almost a whole week now that cousin and brother have gone and have not returned. So that's how we're going to start. You guys have paid a bounty hunter 10 gold total to hunt Filbert down. That gold was returned with a 5 gold bonus and a note apologizing. The half-elf you hired, she was the note sounded very apologetic, very genuine. She said that she cannot get involved with the people that Filbert got tangled up with, and she's really sorry about it. Don't look for her. She's leaving town. And
yeah, that part made me feel like it was more matter of fact than sincerity and genuineness. Like, you guys don't even know. I'm out.
Well, there's a number of reasons for that. Being a half-elf, even though she had a freedom tattoo on her face to mark her as a freed half-elf, it's still a really dicey situation for someone in her situation. To cause trouble with anybody of power would be a big deal for her. So it wouldn't be really all that surprising that she dipped out on you, but leaving the extra money and doing it is kind of like, whoa. So that's the tone that would set for you guys. And now,
That was kind of strange.
what do you want to do?
Do we know why she left extra money? I mean, does it make sense of that why she left extra money? Was it like, I mean, did she leave extra money because of us being dwarves?
No, she would have left money in almost as an apology for a broken contract.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
it's a way to break out of a contract and to pay restitution for that with no, like, don't come looking for me. I've paid you extra. I'm out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really interesting and cool at the same time. Now, she left us this like in a note fashion, or she told us this? Because I feel like
She left a note.
She left a note.
Yeah.
So we can't even. Yeah, because we really can't find her because we don't know where she is then. So
Correct.
We can't ask her any questions.
Yeah.
Sometime in the middle of the night, she snuck into the caravan camp and left the bag for you.
Gosh, that sucks because the first question, I feel like the only question any one of us would want to ask is, who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, who is it that you're talking about?
Well, she probably left in the way that she did so that we wouldn't ask that question.
Yep. So
Well,
she
right.
wouldn't betray whoever it was,
Yeah.
and so she wouldn't be in trouble.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So what do you guys want to do? Or are you just gonna move
I don't
on?
even know what we can do. Like,
Yeah.
dude has been executed, right?
Who?
No, he's on his way, but not the only way is to create a favor.
I thought it was like a week or so. Hadn't that
The elf-
days already?
The elf will be fighting in the arena just outside of town today.
Oh, okay. So okay. I understand the time frame now.
The only thing that I can think of is he went to go talk to Filbert went to go talk to this elf. And as soon as that happened, the guard, right, overheard some weird conversation.
He's-
Something about the Fae.
Yep.
A sphinx.
Yeah.
Was that supposed to be sphinx or sphinx?
Sphinx.
So there was supposed to be an H in there.
Yeah, it's probably just a misprint.
Okay.
So the Fae and a Sphinx, and after that he went missing, and nobody saw him after that. Nobody recalls seeing him after that. So they might have, but nobody can really verify. And whoever he's wrapped up with are probably related to the elf. So I wonder if something's gonna go down at the arena. As much as I am not interested in.
So you think we should go watch and try to look for signs of like who, like any sort of interaction, like with him?
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I didn't even think about that.
We could do that.
I mean, that is the only thing I can think of.
You're right. That really is like the only thing. Yeah, I don't.
Would we have any information or have the ability to gain any information on the other slaves that escaped with the elf?
Probably, yeah. I honestly didn't put that thought to that question, but you'd be able to gain some other information on that. There was another elf and a Goliath. The Axe Breakers would be very forward with that information with you. They escaped together, the three of them.
So I would just say that we keep an eye out for 2 elves and a Goliath, or an elf and a Goliath.
Yeah.
But odds of them showing themselves here is unlikely. Slaves.
All right, you guys, would you three please make perception checks for me?
Nice.
Very nice. That's a good way to start the night. With a 19, a 5, and a 7, a 4. Good job, Thanik.
Yeah.
Matt-
I am crying. I'm just crying. Drunk and crying.
Mostly drunk.
Yeah.
Mav, you notice you're being watched by one of the other dwarves of the clan. One of Amcom's kids. His daughter, Weragrumi. She's been watching you guys this whole time that you've been having this discussion about going to the arena. And as you decide, it sounds like you're getting pretty firm on this decision, she walks up to you.
I would ask her what business she has with us.
So it looks like she probably has something to say. So I think I just let her walk up and
Yeah,
say whatever
yeah.
she wants to say.
So, Tony, yeah, what does Weragrumi say?
Oh, wasn't prepared.
Sorry, buddy.
Sorry. No, it's okay. She would timidly approach, knowing everything that's been going on, that you guys are kind of on edge. So she wouldn't want to spook you guys. And you guys know that she is, like, you know her. You know she's one of the provisioners' kids, and she's one of the actual hunter-gatherers. So she's used to approaching things cautiously. You guys know that she's a bit of a tomboy and rather gruff. And she would just approach and say, Da was always rather kind to your friend Filbert. And I kind of aimed to know why. I never understood. I heard he was missing, and it looks like you're intent on going somewhere. I'd like to help if I can.
Okay.
I feel like, yeah, she.
Sure.
I mean, your family, so
Yeah.
okay.
I feel like we would probably explain the situation to her, like what we were just talking about. So like she knows that we're going to the arena, and if that's something that she wants to do, she's obviously more than welcome. I feel like we're all like, yeah, come on, come with.
She'd look at you a little confused based on everything that you're saying, and not fully understanding why you're going to the arena. And she'll just kind of look around at the group, and at the mention of family, she'll just say, "Aye, but there's different types of family."
I mean, I agree. Some you can choose, some you're stuck with.
She'll raise an eyebrow at you with that, and then just kind of fall in rank.
All right. So you guys let Weragrumi follow you to the arena to come along on this adventure, and you head out. So it's arena day. A lot of the town is going. Only about half of the granite backs are working today, and they're the ones who've gotten behind on their projects. Otherwise, they would be going to the arena as well. You guys, because you were looking for Orin's son, he cut you some slack and didn't give you a project the last couple of days because he's starting to get pretty worried too. And he's been off asking questions of his own, but he's gotten nowhere. So you guys have the day off. You get to head for the arena. And you get there, and there are crowds everywhere. There are rich, noble folk coming in on being carried on litters by their slaves. There are other folk riding in on horses. There are people signing up to fight. You see some seasoned troops and veterans of the army signing up to fight. You see other people that would qualify as adventurers who are signing up as well. They're logging into multiple different styles of competitions. Some are fighting against monsters. Some are fighting against other gladiators. It promises to be a pretty good show today. So entrance fee is a silver. So you'll have to deduct a silver from your character sheets.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, silver's not too
Yeah,
bad.
we're flowing in gold.
Yeah, you got an extra 5.
Not you and Thanak anymore.
No, we got our money back.
Oh wait, yeah, I was gonna say initially you weren't.
Yeah.
And Filbert was paying. I wasn't paying.
Don't even have access to his money.
I was gonna say good luck getting that back when you're
No, I do have access to his money. It's all in my pockets.
Why do you have his money?
What?
Because
Filbert
he
was too
doesn't.
irresponsible to have his own money.
So he never collected it.
You actually do have it.
I do.
No, it was regularly stated.
So funny. I thought you were just being Andy about it, but you actually
No.
That's great.
So you guys go into the arena, and it's the criminal fights are pretty early on in the arena battles for the day. And the arena is only at about half capacity. When it comes to the monster fights this evening, the place will be hopping. So you can get a pretty good seat right down near the edge by one of the rails and the rims to see down into the arena. And about 3 fights in, the elf is sent out. He comes out of the gate right underneath where you're sitting.
Neat.
Can I yell at him and ask him where he sent my brother?
He looks up at you, and he make a perception check. Actually, insight. Make an insight check as he looks at you.
Nice.
His face is sad. And then he just turns around and walks out into the arena.
So I am fully expecting some type of trickery.
Shenanigans?
Yeah, chicanery going on. So I just kind of want to be, like, casing the joint, like watching the crowd, seeing what's going on. I
Yeah.
can't think of
I'd like to rob the stagecoach, please.
a, yeah.
Panic, relax, man. Live in the moment. Holy cow.
I mean, I hate arenas anyways, so I'm not really enjoying this.
I'm gonna buy this guy beer.
It's definitely available. There
I'm
are
gonna buy 2.
What? I don't get one? I'll buy one too.
Well, I was getting 2 just for Thanak.
Oh.
I'm,
I mean, I
I'm
was
definitely getting myself one.
I was gonna drink both of them.
Yeah, you need to, so that's why I'm getting you 2.
I love how unbelievably very dwarf this is. It's just great.
I'm trying to play my character.
I appreciate it. It's solid. So, let's see. In Othig, you would really like this. During your time and in your division of the army, it's not that you'd like arenas so much. Most Kren really enjoy the arenas, but your battalion in particular in the army did a lot of sparring arena action. In fact, your battalion was notoriously known for sending off people to higher level inter-militia competitions in army. And you guys often did really well. So you get a pretty good charge out of this. It brings back a lot of the good memories of the times you spent in the militia.
Good stuff.
Yeah, like you're in the stands, you're ringing your gong, you're hooting and hollering.
Yeah, the gong is definitely
it's a good time.
Did you think of me when you said gongs going off at the opening?
Of course I thought of you. Like, the Kren now have war gongs. I'd never thought of that before, but now
That's awesome.
now
But
they use
totally
them.
would.
Yeah,
They
of
would.
course they would. Absolutely. So,
Excellent.
yep. So the elf, he walks out into the arena, and on the other side of the arena, they open up the gates, and out comes a creature you've heard of, but none of you have ever seen before. It is a
Periton.
bestial creature. It is, what did you say?
A Periton.
No, it's not a Barrington.
I love coming
It's-
full circle.
It's got the body of a man, but it stands about 10 feet tall, and it's got the head of a bull. It is super muscular.
Yes.
And it just continues to walk out towards the center of the arena, and as it gets out there, it's approaching the elf. The elf drops his weapons, walks away, and goes and stands right in front of the noble section, and just stands there. And the Minotaur walks up behind him and doesn't even think twice, just grabs him by the head and breaks his neck. Throws his body on the ground and walks back into the thing. It's extraordinarily anticlimactic.
Wait, the elf guy just gave up.
Yeah.
What?
Well, he's not gonna beat a Minotaur. Even I know that.
Dude didn't even try.
Didn't even try.
That's crazy. So we've besides that not going the way that I thought it might, we've only ever heard of these. We've never seen one before.
No, most of the crowd was super shocked when this thing walked out. None of them had ever seen a Minotaur before. You feel like by the way they reacted.
Do we know, like, what's our knowledge on resurrection magic?
You know that it's very costly, it's very powerful, it does happen, but it's kind of one of those things that only rich people get because the Kren have a fairly large embargo and trade seizure on diamonds.
Okay.
They are not, you can't just go buy a diamond from a jewel merchant. You have to get one from the government.
Okay. Do I know what they do with the bodies? Do any of us know what they do with the bodies after they die?
Yeah, the bodies from the arena today will be gathered up in wagons and driven out to the Charnel House pits that are outside of the house. For the criminals, anyways. The gladiators who sign up to die, they'll be buried properly, but the criminals will all be wagon dumped in a hole.
How fitting that we should have acquired him at the Charnel House, and he will
I
be
know.
resting at the Charnel House.
I'll just lean over to Mav and I'll just be like, is that ironic or not at all? I'm not sure yet.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep,
Yes, you can.
yep, absolutely.
Okay.
So, what do you guys want to do now? Where Gummy? You got any thoughts?
She's just enjoying the show, but she's paying more attention to the guys. She's kind of trying to figure out why they're here, because the way that they were talking, they looked like they were up to something.
I meant to say, like, we would have told you that. Like, in your approaching us, like, I would have wanted to explain to you where we're going and why we're going.
Right, she has no idea what this guy looks like, so this guy just died and she doesn't understand. Unless you guys told her that's the elf, she wouldn't have known that.
Oh yeah, I think probably.
Yeah, I feel like
would've done
we would.
When
explain.
I yelled at the elf, it probably would have been a conversation point of why I was yelling
Yeah.
at the elf.
Yep.
Yeah, I would have just I would have just nudged her and said that's him.
Okay. Tony needs those things, that's all.
Okay.
Fair enough.
We found him in the Charnel House, and we found him, and his explanation was a big fat lie.
Mm-hmm.
So what was he really doing there?
That's a good question.
Well, that is a good question.
That is a good question.
Do we? I mean, that's a long trip. Do we want to go out there?
Well, it's
So, I mean-
like we were told we've got time off, so we could probably make the trip.
We could, but I mean, outside of the outside of my own paranoia, where else is it gonna go? They're gonna bring him to the Charnel pits because he's dead. So
Are you afraid he's gonna come back to life as a skeleton?
I mean,
I
okay,
mean, that was
so-
scary, but
that was kind of terrifying. That was kind of scary. But I have extra beer with me this time, so I should be.
Some liquid courage, do you?
Yes.
Excellent.
No, but I mean, like I'm all for a good conspiracy, but the reality of it is, this could be a 2-day waste of time.
I've
Or
never known you
it
to
could be a
dive
2-day
into
adventure.
conspiracies.
It could be it could be an adventure. What'd you say, Mav?
I've never known you to dive into conspiracies.
That's all I do.
And now that
I don't
now
know
that
if
Panic
you
isn't
know-
being so uptight, Othig's more prone to have a lot more fun on this adventure. Should we actually go?
It's super funny, like, just listening to you guys. Like, Mav clearly knew at this point that that's all you're about is conspiracies.
I mean, that is.
There's no question about that at all.
I kind of envision myself to be a little bit of John Malkovich from Red, just a little bit.
Then aren't you always worried somebody's trying to cheat you?
He is.
I mean, somebody is. Oh, it's not. I'm not. It's not
Not paranoia if they're right.
right. If
No, it's
somebody
still
is always
paranoia.
trying
You're
to
just
cheat-
paranoid and right.
Yes. So, anyways.
So what do you guys want to do? Do you want to finish your day at the arena, or do you want to head out and see if you can track down some more clues?
I mean,
We
personally,
paid a silver to be here.
I have no taste for the arena, so I don't want to actually be here. But if you guys want to be here, that's fine.
Is there anyone else that we're supposed to see here? Like, because we said we were looking out at the arena for a few people. The elf who was obviously going to fight, and who else and why? I can't.
No, we were looking for possibly his compatriots, who might have shown up for some tomfoolery, but
Okay, but we don't
that was
even know.
unlikely since they were slaves.
Yeah. Right. Okay. That would be like
How
next
much?
to impossible here.
How much access? I mean, I assume little to none, but is there at least kind of like a visual that I could get? Because I don't want to watch the arena, but could I go like in the back? Not necessarily the back, but is there a place where I could go and watch them transfer the body with the rest of the bodies? Like I'm kind of worried that somebody's gonna take some like his compatriots are gonna take his corpse and try to resurrect him. Like I don't understanding that that's probably extremely rare.
Right.
I'm still concerned about it.
Okay.
Conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
There
it's
is.
conspiracy.
They basically call it the outhouse on the arena. It's a big square building attached to the back. It functions as part prison, part staging grounds, and it's where they'll pile up all the bodies before they cart them up and take them out. It is a no access area. And this place is very heavily guarded. There are guards everywhere, and half the people in the crowd happen to be soldiers, so starting a trouble here would be a real bad idea.
Okay, well, how about this? Do we know like when, do we know when that would happen?
It'll happen at the end of the night.
So they'll do it like at dark,
Yeah.
like caravan style. They'll go like trudge through the dark to the.
Like they'll
to
leave
the-
at night.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so if we know this, I guess an option is to, either like be there before them or trail after them.
I'd say we'd be there before them.
Yeah, but if I mean that's I have actually full-blown conspiracy now.
Oh, you weren't before? A surprise.
Is somebody, I mean, especially if they're going to dark, it would be easier to body snatch a caravan traveling, especially in the dark. It might be better if we are following at a distance behind them.
Okay, we can do that, and I totally agree with your thinking there. The only thing that we have to watch out for is the risk of
Exhaustion.
basically, well, that and being questioned about like if they somehow were to find us, like why are we following?
Yeah.
And my question to you is, what are we going to do if they do go to buy snatch?
Follow them.
Okay.
I mean, if they do body snatch, if they do take the corpse, then we follow them to where they're taking them, and maybe Phil's there.
I think it depends on like how well done it was. Like if they do it in a way that they try to create a diversion and create a fight, and then we see someone like scurrying away with a body, or if they do it covertly, like we might not even notice. But
Yeah.
I guess that's the risk that we take.
Especially if it's at night.
Right.
All right, so are you going to head to some point out on the road? In white?
If we're heading out of town, I think we should probably head back to camp and get some supplies. I didn't really plan to leave town. I didn't bring anything with me.
Do we have access to any horses?
You might be able to talk Orin into letting you take some of the camp horses. You are looking for Filbert after all.
But what about bears?
No bears.
No.
Crap.
Is the carnival around?
Nope. The carnival it's a year before the carnival makes its first appearance here.
Dude, even if there was, you knew only one person would get the bear.
It'd be Filbert.
No.
Dude, you're gone. You can't.
Filbert's gonna have to ask some permission.
The only way you're riding a bear is if you're riding a bear in the face.
Yeah.
All he needs to do is ask the bear permission.
So, is that the plan then? Go back to camp, supply up, see if you can get some horses, and then head out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what can we really afford too? Like as far as is there like lower level healing kits that we can
You know, it's amazing. It's like I have a lower level healing kit on me.
Yeah. How many charges? It's 10 total charges, right?
We have 6 more, plus I have another hit kit. I have 2 kits.
Oh, you do have 2. Okay.
Yeah. Because I told you guys it was like 5 gold, or 10 gold or whatever, and it was half that, so I just bought 2.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But that only works for you because of feet you have?
Correct.
Okay, so that doesn't work like that for us though. How does it work for us?
Anybody else who doesn't have that feat can use the kit to stabilize somebody who's dying, but that it just takes them into unconscious.
It doesn't provide any health point.
Correct.
No.
Got it. So that's not really working.
All right. So you guys start heading back to camp, and as you do, one of the younger dwarves from camp you see him running down the street, and he sees you, and he comes to an abrupt halt, and then turns and starts heading your way.
What you want?
He says he's out of breath. What have you been? I've been looking everywhere for you. Orin has been arrested.
For crying out loud.
And we found Filbert.
What? That's great. Okay, where is like? Do we know where
Where's
Orin?
Orin? Why was Orin arrested?
He puts his hand out. He's like, "It's not great. Filbert's dead."
What?
Wait, what happened? What? Say you cut off for me. What?
He's dead. Filbert's dead.
He's dead.
D-E-D, dead.
To
That's not how you spell dead.
That is how you spell dead.
I and you could tell he's been crying, he's running, he's out of breath. He kind of just sits down on the side of the road and he says, two men cloaked in red rode into the camp with him on the back of a cart, and they didn't speak to anyone, they didn't say anything. Oren called them reapers, and they dropped Filbert off at the center of camp, and Oren started a confrontation with him, and they took him.
Do we know who the Reapers are? Like, have we heard that term?
You guys being older dwarves would know exactly who the Reapers are. The Reapers are basically the Emperor's hands. They're the Emperor's eyes and ears and hands. They're spies. They're assassins. They are a big deal.
So he got taken and arrested by them for starting that confrontation.
Yes, that's the way it sounds.
Did the Reapers kill Filbert, or did the Reapers just drop off the body?
That's unclear at this time.
Okay. Well, let's go. I mean, are we able to go see Oren in prison or so or whatever, where he's being held?
The kid would tell you, Tiri. Tiri is his name.
You don't want to stop by, like, Filbert's body first?
I mean, Mav would want to. He makes fun of Filbert, but he'd still want to see the body.
Well, I feel like Thanik would want to also.
I mean, yeah, probably, yeah. But yeah.
So let's focus on doing that first, because that's like right where we are.
Is that where we are?
You're actually closer to the Praetorium, which is where they would have taken Oren, than you are to camp.
Oh, sorry. I thought this was like a long ways off.
I did too. I thought they took him out of town.
Yeah.
The arena's kind of on the south side of town, and your camp is on the north side of town. So you would go right past the government building.
Okay, then to the government building.
Okay. So you go to the government building and ask to see Oren, and you are immediately refused.
So do we get to, like, can we, like, get any information from them? Like, would they even tell us, like, on what grounds or why or when, like, we can see him, or if we're going to see him again? Like, do we get any of that information?
Let's see. Yes and no. You don't get much out of the people there, but a friend of the family, Kelric Ironfist, the Iron Fist and the Granite Backs have had a little bit of political tension, but not like the Red Rocks. The Iron Fist and the Granite Backs were the two original clans that were part of the adventuring group. Those clans spawned out of that adventuring group, and so their competition has always been a friendly competition, where the Red Rocks are just dirtbags. One of them works in the governmental building, and he pulls you aside and he tells you, he's like, Oren's been arrested for treason.
Treason? What?
I don't think it will stick, but it's something to do with the boy.
Well, do you have any more details than that?
Not that I can give you. I shouldn't have even have told you that, but it's family friends, you know.
Yeah. Well, we definitely appreciate that. What can we do? Like, he would know, like, what we could maybe do in the meantime.
They're not going to find any source of treason in Oren. They're going to give him a beating and let him go. I'd head back to your camp and see to the arrangements of poor Filbert.
Yeah, alright.
I'll do what I can on my end, but it's not much.
Thank you. Thank you for your help.
Yeah, definitely gonna shake that guy's hand and then...
Send him a beer.
Oh, maybe later.
So, You guys
Hang
had
on for a second.
sure.
Hey, Tony, did you actually get your character killed off screen? Good lord. Okay, back to the game.
I wanted to ask that like right away.
Yeah,
But
I feel
I
like
was letting it play out to see if there was some hope.
Yeah.
unless he's not currently at his computer, I feel like the silence is an implication
Confirmation?
of yes. Yeah.
Oh, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, so I feel like
He's just as concerned for Filbert.
Yeah, I feel like
Well,
you have the answer.
Tony's had about 3 more days to process this than the rest of you have had.
At some point, the story of what happened needs to be explained. But
Nope.
like that's as far as when, that doesn't have to be now. But like we totally need a play-by-play for how he killed himself.
Well, good thing it's in chat. I can repost exactly what happened someday.
Disapprove.
But we might not. It might stay a secret until the end of the campaign.
Oh man.
Until we
So
find
3
a
years
book.
from now.
Until we find a book titled "The Chronicles of Phil."
Yeah.
The
Holy
brief.
cow.
It's a pamphlet at this point.
That's good. That's fine. That's enough.
So you guys head back to camp, and Filbert's mom is already starting to prepare things through tears, and the camp is just in a state. It's not often that dwarves cry. Even the ladies, for the most part, consider themselves pretty tough. This is just it's an ugly, sloppy mess.
Yeah, I feel like this would be really sad because, well, I mean, it is really sad because he was really young.
Yeah,
Yeah, just a kid.
19, and he died in a pretty terrible manner from the look of things. You get back to the camp and you find a couple of things out.
Yeah.
So it looks like he was severely beaten at some point in time. The word torture could probably be even used here.
Jeez.
It looks like he died from a stab wound to the chest. But oddly enough, there is a second stab wound on him that looks like it had been healed over. But there's a scar that wasn't there before. And then on the palm of his left hand is the branding that the Kren put on people who are suspected traitors to the Empire.
Ugh.
Oh, jeez.
What did you do, Filbert?
Yeah.
Where Groomy is just kind of watching as you guys are paying your close respects and talking to the corpse. And she's just gonna kind of look at all of you guys and pay her condolences to you.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know.
So I'm going to DM pause here too. Like, I just want to let you guys know I did not expect the Commoner campaign to be this tragic.
Jeez.
So, like, here I was a few weeks ago promising a lighter, happier campaign full of mayhem and mischief, and we've just brutally gotten a young man destroyed.
Yeah,
So,
like I don't even know what to say about it. I'm just like I'm kind of like beside myself. Like, man, we just like, we're like just kind of going along in this, this close family, and he had just gotten back from being away, and some camaraderie, and now his life was just snuffed out like
Yeah.
violently, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in Barovia again.
3 days I couldn't even talk about it.
Holy
I
cow.
like okay, guys, we're gonna have a storyline death, but don't worry, you'll be at least level 6.
Level
oh
6.
no, I caveated that with
Level
saying,
2.
I definitely caveated that with saying that doesn't mean you can't do something dumb and get yourself killed.
It's true.
Oh.
You did.
I don't like the implication that I did something dumb.
But none of us disagree with that statement.
Okay, so
I think
feel like-
Tony's fair to say that Tony did something dumb. Tony did something Filbert. That's really what happened. Is Filbertism spun out of control.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Who was it that said you couldn't kill Filbert?
Allie.
She already yelled at me.
I told her, she was, because it happened while I was at work, so I told her, and I was like, Allie, Tony just got Filbert killed. And she said, what? And then stabbed a box with a cutter, with a box cutter. And didn't even realize that it had happened. I was like, Allie, you just stabbed that box. She's like, no, wait, what? No, I didn't. And then she saw the stab, and she's like, oh my gosh, I don't even remember doing that. I'm so upset.
Oh,
So, all right.
wow.
Blind raid.
Well,
Good times.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like we would just help him. I don't know. Like I know.
I would be helping.
Yeah.
The whole thing feels like just awful because like he really just had thought that Filbert was just being Filbert and maybe just went out to go do a Filbert thing and would hoped for the best that he'd be back, and now this happens and he just feels awful about it. So I feel like Othig would just help out in whatever way he can, and like this sucks. This sucks.
To be fair,
Where Grummy is
Filbert
just
did a
gonna
Filbert
ask.
thing.
Well, Grummy's just gonna ask, what did you guys send him to investigate?
We did not send.
Yeah. You know those scenes in movies where like the main character just gets like really bad news, and so they just stand there for a minute while everybody runs around in like double speed around them.
Yeah.
That's what Thanik is. That's what Thanik is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys commit to setting up for the funeral, which will happen as soon as Oren's back. That's what his wife, Mav's mom, tells you. That they'll wait for Oren. Oren doesn't come back until the next day. And when he comes back, he's a bit beat up too. Although not nearly as bad as Filbert was. And he just hasn't been branded a suspected traitor, but it does look like they used heavier techniques to ensure that he was telling the truth.
So like, would he like address the clan, or is this just a situation where like, would we even feel like we can approach him about something like this to find out like what happened, or is that just like way too?
Because of how closely tied you guys are to the situation, and Mav is his son.
Yeah.
So, there's a very good... You feel like you could definitely approach.
I would approach, but I would follow Mav.
Yeah.
Yeah, man would do so. Not cautiously, but with good intention.
So, you ask Oren what happened, and he says, he turns and he looks at you, and he's got a black eye, and says, I think they mistook Filbert for her. And he's very emotional. Or I think they thought the boy was protecting secrets of enemies of the state, and he was just being Filbert and didn't know how to answer the questions they asked him. And because of that, they came for me, and then I put up a fight because they killed my son, and it all went to hell from there.
I would just kind of state, like, I think we'd all do the same thing in his position.
I hope you would.
If we were there, they would have arrested all 5 of them.
Yeah.
Well, some of the others tried, and I waved them off, and I'm glad they listened because I didn't have a good night.
Would it be inappropriate to buy him a beer?
Not at all.
I think at this point we probably would have like one of us would have run off to go get a keg.
No, he's already tapped his own in his Vardo.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be at all. Had there not been some around a time to tap
the
it.
self-tapping beer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beer keg.
So he's like, I appreciate you for being here. I really do. But I've got to put together my thoughts for the funeral tonight.
where Grummy, I think, would have absolutely provided one of the family casks. I assume the provisioners brew, at least one of them does, and would provide whatever the best one they have available to the family.
All right, that's cool. It is gladly accepted. So, is there anything else you four want to ask?
Was it the Reapers that killed him?
I it was. I don't know how he didn't know who they were. He had to have seen him in the militia, but he probably never understood.
He probably never was explained them.
Yeah.
They just let him be him.
Gosh, this gets like more tragic the more that we hear about it.
3 days.
They still never told me exactly what transpired. They just said he wouldn't. He hid things from them. Maybe he did. I don't know.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Like, so, what would, I don't really know how to ask this, but like, what would our disposition be like in light of this? You know, knowing that, you know, we're dwarves and we're in the Kren Empire and something like this has happened. Like, like, how accepting are we? Or like, does this change our relationship between like, you know, the
Are the Reapers now our mortal enemy that
yeah,
we're
you know,
gonna
like,
hunt down?
how do we feel about the servants of the state now? That, like, how does that whole dynamic change now, or does it at all?
A lot of that's really up to you guys on how much you want it to change. Kren, as in general, they would be mostly accepting of this. Everyone would consider it tragic. Nobody even knows who the Reapers are. Most of the time, their families don't even know that so-and-so in the family is a Reaper. But most people understand that these guys are agents of the Emperor who basically keep the Empire safe. And, you know, it's you would handle this like we would handle an accidental cop shooting if it happened to somebody we cared about. That's kind of how we'd handle it. Maybe with a little bit more suspicion because of how suspicious the Reapers can be. But
And some of our people.
Yep. If they did this, they really, at least up front, thought that there was a serious, serious problem.
Alright.
Okay.
But if you want to let this change how you feel about the Empire, you are more than welcome to do so. That's your character, and that's your right.
I gotta chew on that one a bit longer.
Does Oren know about Phil's abilities, or whatever you want to call them? Like the owl and...
I would say no.
Recently?
He may have noticed some more weird things happening in the last week, but the owl only showed up this last week.
Yeah.
So
Are those things, that's actually, I'm glad that you asked that, because I kind of wanted to, you know, on the same train of thought, are those things that we would identify as what the Reapers were considering being quote-unquote enemies of the state? Or, like, does it have anything to do with that, or do we not?
You would definitely think it's an option because of how hesitant the Kren are to deal with any race other than humans and dwarves. And so to deal with another sentient creature is kind of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think at the very least, personally, here's Thanic's thought on this is that Thanic is very, very, very pro Kren. So he would even...
You think there's a conspiracy going on?
No, not at all. in this particular scenario, no. I think he's kind of pro Kren to a fault, to the point where he would even like cut them slack.
Yeah, most Kren are.
So yeah, so I think that Phil, being young and not really knowing what was going on with himself, as well as how others would take it. He was even kind of maybe even a little hesitant with us to really talk about what was going on. Part of it is because he didn't know. Part of it is because he's talking to a dryad one day, and like, I mean, what's going on? So I wouldn't necessarily think that they were coming after him because of that, but I think that his reluctance to maybe talk about it is what they thought he was hiding something, and he was just trying to hide that part.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably where Othik would be too, but Ryan's having a really hard time like playing the character to that extent because he just wants to be angry at these guys.
Right on.
But
So,
yeah, I feel like
you guys all make insight checks too, as you're going over the stuff that's happened in the last few weeks and the stuff that's gone on here today. And these are actually against yourself.
Well, I'm sorry, what? Do an insight check?
Yes, please. We're gummy. Thanak, you and Othig, Mav is... Maybe it's one of those things where siblings, you're just too close to each other to really notice. And since you've kind of always given Filbert a hard time and he's been Filbert back, you didn't notice this as much. But you other two picked up on it. You really felt like the last few days that he was with you, traveling back from the Charnel House and all of that business, that his attitude towards you was one that he was testing to see if you were actually accepting of him. And from the way things went, you kind of feel like he probably would have thought you did. But he was definitely pushing that to see if you did.
Yeah.
yeah, it was definitely some weird stuff, and I know that's kind of where I was at with it. Like, I just wanted to be like, this is odd for Kren and for dwarves, Kren dwarves, but what else? Because family.
Right on. So, well, here's how the rest of the day goes. The funeral's put together. They bring in more beer from town for celebration afterwards. There are other people that are showing up this time. When Amcom passed away, a few dwarves from town that he knew showed up, but it was left to be a fairly family affair. This is a little different. There are people that have known Orin for a long time, that have responded to the tragedy. It's one of those things where sometimes when a young person passes away, people just in town that you've never met show up. There's a lot of that going on here. So, the funeral is quite a bit larger, and the night comes as tradition, and Phil is laid out on his funeral litter to be carried here soon. And the dwarves of the clan come back once again to celebrate someone's passing. Orin is just about to start when there's this just horrendous wailing and hissing sound from right on the outside of the circle of people that have gathered, and everybody turns to look, and there is a small green lizard folk woman screaming at the top of her lungs. Everybody stops and looks at her, and Pungent Sky says, "This one is sorry, little dwarf's friend when we were clutchlings." And she starts to just sob and then runs off. She's so sad.
Oh,
We were clutchlings.
You were the closest thing she ever had to a clutch mate because you guys were the same age growing up.
That's awesome.
So,
hey, Mike, I was going to ask this before, but what age do dwarves start drinking? Like, would Filbert have ever had?
Oh yeah, like 5. It's
Okay.
like it's
Didn't have a taste for it.
it's how you get dwarven children to go to sleep at night.
Thank you.
Nice. Okay, so I'm assuming there's probably offerings of beer around the presentation.
Not yet. They bust that out at the end of the presentation.
Okay,
But,
because I
yeah.
would definitely want to
Yeah.
do that.
It's probably coming because there's beer already. It's waiting in the wings.
All right, sorry
So,
to detract.
yeah, no, it's all good. It's an emotional moment, so it's fine. The clan then gathers around Filbert's body and turns back to the focus, and they light the funeral torch that starts to burn brightly at his head. So Orin walks out of his Vardo, and he's holding a spear that really only Mav would really recognize. Everybody else sort of recognizes it. It's normally displayed over the family table in Orin's Vardo. It's pike length, so it's big, and at the spearhead, on the sides of it, a little bit down on the shaft, is melded two blades that make it look more like an axe with a spear tip, just below the head of the spear. And he addresses the crowd and he says, Filbert was my youngest son, born to us late in life. It's no mystery that I never understood the boy, and I think he believed I was disappointed in him. The truth is, I envied his ability to see things in a way most of us can't. I was proud he was my boy, even if most of the time he drove me senseless. He holds up the spear and shows it to the crowd. He says, this weapon was once wielded by Tolberry Graniteback, one of the founders of our clan. It's been passed down through the Graniteback clan from generation to generation for almost 400 years. This is the first weapon my children ever held in their hands. It's a symbol not only of Clan Graniteback's strength, but our devotion to the Empire. The Empire I still believe in, even though it has deeply wronged me here today. He gives the spear a twist, and it comes apart in two pieces. The top half is definitely now more of a battle axe with a spear top than it is a pike. He looks at the body of his son in the firelight as the firelight dances off the blade, and the axe head comes down in a flash, and Filbert's left hand is cleanly removed. It tumbles to the ground, quick, smooth. So fast it's almost as if it didn't happen. Truly the only real evidence that it was the hand itself laying in the dirt with its curled fingers. A gasp moves through the crowd. Orin picks up the hand and throws it out past the edge of the camp. Says, my boy may have not been a typical Kren, but he was no traitor. And I'll be damned if I'm going to bury him with that mark. Let the jackals have it. It doesn't belong here. And then he lays his own left hand down on the litter, and before the shouts and screams of surprise can even attempt to stop him, the axe head has already swung. Orin grimaces, but there's no cry of pain. Only the grim silence of determination. Tucking the axe head under his bleeding arm, he reaches out and places his own severed hand where Filbert's should have been. Regrasping the axe, he puts his bleeding stump into the funeral torch, burning at the head of the litter, cauterizing the wound. The sizzle and smell of cooking dwarf fills the air. And I'll be doubly damned if I'll let this granite-backed dwarf be buried incomplete. Forgive me, boy. I failed you. Travel well, son. Rest in the hands of the divine and in the halls of our fathers. There's a real long silence. Who will walk him to the tomb? And at that question, you guys are all about to volunteer.
Yep.
Even the slaves are about to volunteer, but every granite-back volunteers. And Orin looks at everyone, tears in his eyes, and he says, so be it then. Dam tradition will take him together. Thank you. We'll go now and celebrate upon returning. And so in the dark of night, the 7-7's caravan sets out together, not for gold and glory, but to settle grief for the soul, to lay a fallen brother to rest. And as you do, somewhere in the distance, even though the hints of mourning are still hours away, a rooster crows. And it sounds sad.
You just had to.
Thank you so much.
I was just like, the whole time I was just like, man, this is super heavy, like, holy cow. This is like, man, like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, dude cut off dude's hand and, like, offered his own. It's just so freaking messed up. And all of a sudden,
Yeah, that rooster needed to be there for real.
Yeah.
So, along the way, Clan Graniteback and the others present are joined by even more dwarven folk and a number of humans from town as well. About a half an hour into the trip, 3 griffin riders begin circling the procession. One lands at the front, and at first, Orin kind of has a look of no official Kren here today, but he removes his helmet, and it's Thelrin Bluestone, the one you guys met on the way.
Yeah.
He nods at Orin, who at first, like I said, was angry, and then as he recognizes an old friend, his face softens. Thelrin goes even further and offers Orin his mount. And so Orin climbs upon the back of the griffin and leads the funeral procession from Griffinback.
dude.
So the procession continues through the night. After about a half an hour into the walk, the mood lightens a little, not much. So if you guys wanted to talk to one another, say anything, do anything, now would be the time.
I don't know. Will we like share stories of his life? Like, is that a dwarf thing?
It would definitely be a dwarf thing.
Yeah.
Remember that one time that I sucked his owl into my face?
Where Rami's just gonna look at you really confused.
Yeah, I feel like we would just, I don't know, I feel like I would share stories of Filbert, being the Filbert that, everyone loved.
Yeah. Yep. So, and once you guys kind of start that a little bit, it kind of goes around and everybody gets in a better mood, and it's still the respectful walk that this is, but it's not nearly as heavy as it was. So in time, you guys arrive at the house and you place Filbert's remains in the furnace. Mav holds back a little bit, but also seems like the effect that was going on with him last time he was here isn't quite as potent as it was this time through. So there's no explosions, there's no skeletons that come crawling out. The darkness stays in place, so most people don't think anything's amiss, although the magical torchlight does flicker a little bit if he gets too close to him, so he kind of keeps his distance from
stays away.
Yep, from magical things.
I have a question. While we're all here, like all of us, the entire clan,
Yeah.
what were those I can't even think, the wisp beetles? Is that a normal thing?
Yes, actually it is.
Okay.
The wisp beetles, they live and they devour the crumbling bones. As they turn into bone meal, the wisp beetles feed off of that, so they're constantly scavenging the bottom of the pit. They will eat flesh, but yeah, so they're normal.
So do they and this is just kind of me putting things together. Is that the magical darkness that floats over the top? Is that to separate the?
To kind of hide it.
Yeah. Is that to separate the people? To like, will the bugs not go through that as well?
Correct. The bugs won't
Okay.
pass through it because they don't. There's nothing up there for them to see to go after, so they stay down in the pits, eating bones. So, let's see. Filbert's remains go into the furnace. Some of the dwarves, they gather around. Some of them are carrying road torches and things like that, because not everybody in the group had dark vision, so there were a bunch of other traveling torches lit. And as Filbert's body begins to burn, a wind kicks up in here, which is really weird, because there's no wind in this place. Torches start to flicker. You watch as the flames in the furnace, which are normally blue, turn to a very deep green. And suddenly the entire place smells of spring plants and trimmed green grass. Small green lights begin appearing and casting strange shadows on the walls, and then everyone hears it. Filbert! Filbert! And then all of the lights go out. And you hear, Orin Graniteback, fear not. Filbert Lord shall find his way safely beyond this mortal coil. Be at peace. You have long honored us, though you do not know us. It will be our honor to guide your son. May Clan Graniteback prosper and thrive. And then the wind suddenly stops and all the lights go back to normal. Several dwarfs scurry up to the furnace and they pull Filbert's litter from the furnace, but his body's gone.
What's Oren look like when that happens?
He make an insight check.
18.
He looks at peace, and you guys kind of feel an overwhelming sense of peace as well. At first, the few of the people start to make talk of strange magic and fairy folk, and then Oren silences them and says, I do not know, it just happened. But I don't feel it was ill. This air is fresh, and my soul is at peace. And whatever has promised to guide my boy, for whatever reason, I believe it. And that will be the end of the matter for Clan Graniteback. And there's nodding and agreement from most of the folks present, although a few still look very suspicious and distrustful. And then he leads the procession out of the crypt and heads for home.
Alright, let's follow him.
Alright, so you guys make it back. Probably about noon the next day. Everybody is very tired. But you're dwarves, and you start drinking.
Yeah.
Right on. Gummy is one of the ones that do not like the situation that just played itself out. Fair enough. But your dwarves, the funeral party actually starts. It doesn't last as long as they normally do because people are borderline exhausted, but it's a good party. And then at the end of it, Oren calls for everybody to get some rest because tomorrow you're going back to work.
All
All right.
Does anybody want to do anything before they go to sleep?
right. Real quick, what's I mean, I know we're all clansmen. What do we know about Were Grummy? Like, how close are we? Is her being distrusting of the situation? Is that obvious enough to us where we would comment it? Are we close enough to where we would console her? You know what I mean?
Probably yes to all of that. Where Grummy is one of the clan hunters, and so therefore she is gone a lot. She's not always at camp like some of the other dwarves would be. She's out and about. So to some degree she has a lot less contact with everyone than most. But
she is also Amcom's second oldest daughter.
yeah. So she's also been
okay.
through quite a bit in the last few days as well. And so she'd probably know Mav better than the rest of you because Mav was around a lot, but maybe not well, and just quiet, tomboyish.
Didn't go well.
Yeah.
All right.
Are they making insight checks, Mike, or no?
They can if you want. I don't know what they'd be inciting you.
Well, he just asked some questions. I didn't know if there was any insightful information there or not.
I mean, I guess you can just choose how you'd like to respond to one another. I don't think there's a need for an insight.
Oh, gotcha. They hadn't asked any questions yet. I thought they were just observing.
At the moment, I'm just observing.
Okay.
I would at some point when it's just the three of us without Were Grummy, I would ask how, like, if we wanted to explain to Oren about any of what had happened.
I would say yes. And I was planning on talking to him later
Okay.
anyways.
Okay. I assume we probably want to keep that
Pretty low.
Yeah, I mean, I am. I think people would handle it okay, but I also want to respect Filbert's not talking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Right on. So Mav, then later that night, when you share what went on with Orin, make a persuasion check just to see how good of a job you do. Oh, good job.
Nice.
You find the right moment to talk to Dad about the stuff that had been going on with Filbert. And he basically responds that it doesn't surprise him that, what was her name? The dwarf with the axe, I can't think of her name.
Already.
Tulberry.
Oh,
Yeah, the one with the original clan axe. He talks about how her daughter was very attuned to the natural world. And she took up a druidic mantle, which was really strange for a dwarf to do. But it's not unheard of. And he said he had often wondered if Filbert was more of that bend, because clan stories of this woman were that she was weird, that she would talk to animals and just strange stuff. So he'd often thought that, and it gives him even more peace knowing that that's what was likely honoring him in the Charnel House.
okay.
I would also give him Filbert 6 gold. And tell him that Filbert would have wanted the clan to have this.
He says he probably didn't even know what it was, but sure.
Probably not.
He'd probably just push coins across the table and pay whatever someone told him to.
Probably.
That boy. That'll miss him. Thank you. So he goes and he puts it in a box and taps the box. And yeah. So the next morning comes, unless you guys want to do anything else tonight.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Where would Filbert was running around with a quarterstaff because he took the spearhead off of it. Would that have been with him, or did that not come with him? Or
It was
is that
all
around,
returned.
or- Okay, so who has it?
Orin would have it.
I don't want to. Oh man, I feel like a horrible dwarf for asking this, but if he, I don't know if he would part with it, or if I feel like he would part with it, or if that's like just not okay to ask. But I kind of want to ask him for.
He'd ask you why.
Othig would want to, like, kind of carry him with him, and not like, I guess like it, because I'd want to put a spearhead back on it to use it as a weapon.
I knew it.
Go
Because
against.
I want to fix it.
Well, no, not to fix it, but like that's the thing I was trying to say. Like it wouldn't be, like he would just want that part of him with.
Yeah. You don't even get done asking. The minute you say you just wanted it to remember him, he'd have given it to you.
Yeah, that's where he'd feel like about it.
Yeah. So you can have Filbert's spear quarterstaff.
That spearhead's just going to keep falling off.
No, you didn't want it on there anyway.
Yeah. All right. Anything else before some of the stuff I actually had planned begins?
Ryan, you would actually still have the spearhead that Filbert gave you.
Yeah, the rounded one that's not even good for a spoon.
Yep, that one. You still have it.
No, I'm sure I don't.
Actually, how big was that spearhead? That rounded spearhead. How big was that?
Probably
Big
not
enough.
too big since it was rounded. I mean, you're talking about a spear that lost the head.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how big was the spearhead in the first place?
I don't know.
Talking like
4 inches wide, 6 inches long. I don't know. How big's a spearhead? Probably 4 by 8.
It's not a picture.
If that's still around, if that is still around, I will try to make that into like a necklace.
All right. You guys can work that out if Othig's willing to part with it.
Sure.
All right. So you have spooned out spearhead necklace and filbert staff, quarter filbert staff. Very nice. So the next morning, everybody gets up and it's different in camp. The attitude is still quiet. There's some very rough-looking hungover dwarves because they're fighting not just a hangover, but exhaustion in a hangover. And they all line up at Orin's, and he doles out the assignments. And you guys get to go into town to the inn, to the Maker's Palm Resting House, and do some repairs for them. He is also sending Grummy with you because they just got their delivery of animals for butchering. So she's skilled with that type of thing, and so she's going to go and lend aid in that department.
Okay.
Cool.
So you guys head off to town and make it to the Maker's Palm Resting House. So let me pop the map of the place, since this is where our adventure is taking place today. Dun dun dun. Adventure. So yeah, as you guys head into town, you get to the place. The innkeeper asks, about what your skill sets are, what you're here to, what you're going to be able to take care of today. He says, I got a long list. What are you going to take care of?
Anything you need, Grandpax can do it.
You grant it back. That's what you always say. You always say stuff like that. All right. Here we go. First thing.
Is Where Grimmy with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with.
Yep.
It's like Mav says that, and all I can think of is that goblin.
Yeah.
I've got what you need.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
You guys would know that where Grummy is. Like I said, she's a hunter. You know that she is also proficient in cooking, and then charting local areas for the resources and such.
Okay.
So those are the things that she is good at. So she does leatherworking, cooking, hunting, and then cartography.
Okay.
Nice. So the first thing that this guy really needs you to do, his name is Sammy. Sammy really needs you to fix the stables. There's several things going on in the stables that they're in need of repair, and there's a couple of just voracious desert squirrels that are constantly gnawing at the ropes. That they really need these two squirrels in particular taken care of.
You don't happen to have a rooster in there, do you?
Why would what? No. Why would I? No, I don't have a rooster.
Okay, just checking.
I would kind of just hold up a noose and say, I'll take care of the squirrels. They're easy enough to trap.
He's like, you need to be quick with these squirrels. They'll get loose.
Were the squirrels like breaking stuff?
Yeah, they're chewing on the ropes that hold the beams together. It's part of what needs to get fixed in the stable. Is a lot of the beam work is coming undone because the squirrels are chewing on all of the roping.
Okay. Would tinkering help with that?
To some degree, you might be able to rig up some stuff to keep the beams lofted as they get retied, things like that.
Okay.
You might be able to come up with some metal strapping instead of rope work.
Okay, so I'll go in there. I'll go with Grimmy.
Okay.
And then I will I'll get my hunting trap all put together and see if I can't figure out how to catch these.
Okay. All right.
Looks like it's you and me, Othig.
Well, isn't that interesting? Because his second job is to fix the roof.
Mav is just gonna chuckle and say, "Hey, you remember what happened last time?"
I'm just gonna survey the area for vomits.
All right.
You need
So,
hay down there.
Othig, let's do Othig and Mav. You guys head up to the roof, and you got to go up past the second floor. You guys get a little bit more map action here almost right away. So let me. You head up to the second floor, and the resting house is a nice place. You guys have spent a lot of time here. And it opens up into a big common room with 2 hallways, and there's ladders at either end of the hallway. Oops. And then you got to pop up onto the roof, and you get up to the roof, and you realize that the corner of it is starting to come undone on the roof. So it's like it's really not too far away from falling apart, to be honest. So if you don't handle this here pretty soon, it's gonna this corner of the roof is gonna give in. So, what would you guys like to do to fix the roof?
Well, Othig, you got any ideas?
There's just that one way up through the center.
No, that actually doesn't come up through the center. You got to climb up ladders at the either end of the hallway.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Okay.
And you pop up on trapdoors. Out of trapdoors. I should have put the roof.
Before that, there was it that the pitch had damage, or there was damage on what's damage?
Right here.
Like, is it just is it damaged in patches?
Yeah.
Or is it structural damage?
This corner right here where the red arrow is pointing, there is some structural damage there that it looks like it's gonna give in maybe a couple of months.
Okay, but it's so it's like the rafters.
Yep.
And that corner. But there's the purple ones are like patches on the top that need to be repaired.
The purple ones are trapdoors that lead back down inside. And the red one is where the damage is.
Okay, so there's only damage in that one corner.
Mm-hmm.
Probably need some ropes in case we fall through the rafters.
Ropes would be a good idea. We can tie him off to the trap door.
Othig, you'll be fine as long as you land on your head.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid of breaking something, so I don't want to break this dude's house. So
It's insured. Don't worry.
Falling is not an option here. We need to definitely be tied off, but we can repair it with can we repair it in place, or do we need actual material?
It looks like you're probably going to have to pick up some actual materials here, as well as, from the look of it, you might have to jack the roof from the inside.
Mav is going to start documenting stuff, making some drawings
Okay.
of what the damage is, and then kind of put together what he would think that we need, but probably talk to Thanik to double check the engineering of it all.
Right on. So let's move to Thanik and we're Grummy then. So you guys are down there, and you get into the stables, and no joke, over on the north side of the stables, like the northwest side, these squirrels have just gone to town. They're gone completely bonkers. They have chewed through almost all of the ropes. The only thing holding up the stables over here is the notching in the wood. So, yeah, they're crazy ferocious.
Have they messed with any of the organic material, or have they only messed with the ropes? Have they messed with any of the saddles, or have they chewed on anything leather?
Yes, if very often mounts that are stabled here overnight have their tack and harness chewed through. That's the words I'm looking for. They also steal the horse's food. These guys are pretty active.
We should probably do some. How big are these squirrels? Are they just regular squirrels?
Well, a Crenfield squirrel can get up to 2 feet, so you got to think more woodchuck.
Okay.
They can get pretty big.
Badger.
You know.
So yeah, I will do some investigation, figure out if I can figure out where they're coming in,
Okay.
and see if I can place my trap in such a way that at least one of them would get taken in by that trap.
Right on.
So that's my goal, and then if possible to fix any of the leather that I can use
Sure.
some of the scraps and things that are about.
Definitely. So go ahead and make a survival check for setting up your traps.
Do we have proficiencies in any skills? I don't remember.
2, but
Well, 3,
It's a
up to
small-
3.
You
Right,
can-
but not those are proficiencies in tools, not in skills, right?
Oh, the skills, depending on what background, if you took the Kren traveling craftsman background, you'd have history and insight.
insight, yeah.
I feel like you've said this like every week we've played.
But I don't know what background you have.
I said it for Filbert because Filbert didn't know. This time Tony doesn't actually know because I didn't
No,
read.
I know. It's just funny because like I know I asked him, he said it to someone else, and now like you're asking. It's just
For what you're doing, you can consider your tool craft. This is something you're tool craft proficient with.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I'm gonna ask you next week just cause.
Just to keep it a regular thing.
There won't be it next week.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. Nice.
So
So
almost wasn't on this week.
All right, so that'll be a 15 total to set up my trap in such a way that I feel like I would be able to snag the one. And then, did you want something for leather working, or was it just the?
Wouldn't it be higher than 15?
it would be 17 because I'm gonna let you roll with proficiency in this. So yeah,
Oh, our proficiency is a 2 at the moment.
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So add a 1 to that, it'll be a 16. I already added a +1.
gotcha.
I don't have a bonus to wisdom.
Got it. All right.
Oh, okay.
So no, I'll just use that for the same thing. I don't want to get bogged down with too much stuff here. So you set a really good snare. Thanik, what are you doing to try and fix this here stable problem?
Well, the question that I have is are the squirrels active enough to where I need to wait for them to be done, or can I get to work?
You think with where Grummy on the case, you can probably get to work.
Okay. Geez, I don't even know. I guess a couple of things. You said like everything was just basically wore down.
They've chewed and stolen the ropes basically, and so
Okay.
the beaming on this side of the stables is really just supported by the notching.
So I'd want to find, first of all, a better way to support that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, build some extra supports on that so
Sure.
it doesn't collapse.
Make a tinkering check then. Oh, yeah, you 21. Nice. You're looking at this and you're eyeing it up and you're like, yeah, I can do this, and you got some stuff in mind and you're like, if we used a chain instead of rope, that thing would never move. And so you're definitely cooking it up. And as you're doing that, Mav and Othig come around the corner and they want you to comment on some schematics and stuff, some plans that they've come up with, and you help them as well with that role. So everybody's pretty well set to do what they need to do. I just need now repairing rolls from Othig and Mav. So actual work rolls.
What do you want for that?
Let's see. Ryan, you can use your smith's tools for this, but you'll only get half your proficiency. And for Mav, it'll be a straight roll, I believe.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well,
Somebody falls off the roof again.
+1.
But we're tied off.
Did you tie off this time?
Yeah.
I
so
don't know about those rolls. I
Don't-
mean,
don't-
might not have tied it off.
Full failure is 1 to 4, so you guys have both escaped full failures, but things don't go as well as you think. You have to make multiple trips to this bazaar in town to pick up some other stuff. Thanak and your stable, plans, they go perfectly. Filbert, you noose up. Filbert.
Filbert.
Oh, I did it.
No,
I did it.
Filbert's back! Zombie Filbert.
We're a Grummy. You noose up the fattest desert squirrel you have ever seen in your life. It's caught in your snare. It's screeching. It's making like endangered squirrel noises. It's chittering. It is freaking out. And as it does, it pitches itself forward. It begins to chew through the ropes that you used to snare it. Yeah. Where Grummy just whips out her spear and just puts an end to that squirrel. But as you do, the other one comes shrieking and leaping out at you, and it lands on your neck and bites you for 2 points of damage.
Oof.
And Thanak, you see this happening. This squirrel has attacked Wera Grummy after she just offed the other one. So
I may need you to roll initiative.
Yeah, I am gonna need you to roll initiative. You are correct.
I love it.
A dog.
All right, give me just a sec here. Do. Is it? I lost it. I lost my squirrel.
There's a sentence.
All right, I'm just going to do that. That's fine. That's not what I wanted to do, but I'll do that. All right, let's go. Thanak, you can now make an attack roll on the squirrel because it only has an initiative of 10.
All right, well, I'm going to make an attack.
So we're Grummy already off to the 1, so you get to go. You hit the squirrel.
Hit the squirrel.
Oh, man, you guys are
smash.
just brutalized these squirrels.
Squirrel masher.
Yeah. So you and Wera Grummy are laughing as she's bleeding out of the neck a little bit because she just like completely decimated the one that she caught, and then you came in and you just smashed this other one. And
It's Vermin Smasher, by the way. Ryan.
Yeah.
He's got a title.
Yes.
so you guys have definitely done your job in taking care of that. And you've done it with so well that you have some time to help out the other guys and make sure the repairs aren't falling apart on the roof.
About to fall off the roof again.
It's you get up there and you look at it and they're pretty much close to done, and they're pretty proud of themselves because they finished, and you look at them and you're like, why didn't you fix this from below?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that made sense. So
See, those plans that you wanted me to look at, you got them upside down.
Oh.
You could also imply that we're working on the wrong corner.
it just wasn't a good go for you guys. So you guys head back downstairs to the main floor of the inn to go talk to Sammy about what to do next, and you hear a dwarf sitting at one of the tables there holler out, "Othig? Is that Corporal Othig Goblinbane? Ho!" And Othig, you're like, oh, no one's called me that in a long, long time. And you look over and you see 2 dwarves and hold on, I gotta pop this open so I make sure I get their names right.
When I hear Goblinbane, I give you the biggest slap on the back. Just like, I'm so proud of you.
That's so funny because I was just about to like slap these guys on the back and like start chatting it up.
Mav
Right.
is just kind of looking at him and saying, no, it's not Goblin Slayer, it's Beetle Smasher.
Yeah. He's been downgraded.
And these 2 guys, they're well into their cups over here, hanging out in the main section of the inn, and they're getting ready for lunch. And he's like, "Oh, sit down, go on, you got to sit down with me." And
Hey, how far are they through their drinks?
they're well, there's 3 or 4 pints on the table that are empty, and
So how
Well,
far?
we need a new round, so I'm buying a new round, and I'm bringing at least 2 or 3 over with me.
all right, he's like, oh,
They are
you,
many far.
and they're both talking back and forth, and this is Skog and Rakic, and they're so you guys, you're part of his clan, right? Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you the thing that he did. When we were in the militia, remember how we all have to do that? When we were in it, we were in the
So good.
we were in the mountains, and goblins they came out and they killed a whole bunch of us. It was really sad. I don't like to talk about it, but Othig here, he found a cave for us to hole up in, and he mounted the defenses. And the goblins, they kept trying to get in, but he'd stab them. And the whole time, he's ringing that bloody gong, and he still has. I was so good. I think I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for you.
I feel like I just gotta chat this guy up and just and laugh with him about it, that it was a group effort, and that it's just so good to see them.
Yeah, they're thrilled to see you. They haven't seen you guys since you guys got out of the militia, and they're just passing through town. They just brought in a cartload of animals to be slaughtered for the inn. They're just stoked that you're here, and yeah, both of them. We're alive because of you, you rascal.
Where are they, like? So they're passing through. Do they know where? They're not like. Are they close to Ilanos right now, or are they gonna come through Ilanos?
They just got jobs out of the Kren capital, Krenshad, as cart drivers, and their delivery was to drop off the animals for the inn that are going to be slaughtered here for the next month's worth of meat and stew and food.
Okay, so I just let them know, like, we're kind of our clan group is like basically stationed out of Ilanos for right now. So if they're through there, they should definitely stop by so that we can do this again and more.
He says, "Oh, that'd be great. We will look for you right here every time we come to town, because this is where we're going to probably go."
I'm all about it.
All right, so you guys have a good lunch, and you guys trade some stories. You trade some tales about good old Corporal Othig Goblinbane, and then they, like, half the time they reference you, they call you the full title, and you're just like, okay. But and every once in a while, one of them will reach over and ring the gong. It's
So great.
it's a genuine dwarven party. And so then after lunch is done, Sam comes out and he's like, "I didn't want to interrupt your lunch, but I got stuff for you guys to do, huh? You think?"
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure.
all right. So, who wants to fix the well?
Sure, I'll fix it.
Oh yeah, possibility of falling. I'm in.
All right, so Thanik and Othig are gonna fix the well. The crank mechanism malfunctioned. It stopped locking, and it unspooled the entire spool of rope down into the well. So somebody will have to go down there and get the rope, and then the cranking mechanism will have to be fixed. And then the other job for the day is butchering the hunt, or the delivery, not the hunt.
Oh yeah, she's all over that.
Right on. So, Mav and Groomy, I'm going to get that right, go to the kitchens to start butchering animals, and the other two guys, they go outside to the back, to the well. Good times.
It'll make it easier, Mike. She would go by Rummy. Just
Grummy?
R-U-M-I.
All right,
Yeah, R-U-M-I.
Rummy. Perfect. That's so much easier.
And less like vampire gummy bears.
Yeah. Werewolf gummy bears.
Yeah, werewolf gummy bears.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but those work too. So, I'll need some rolls to see how well this stuff goes.
Would this be tinkering, I guess?
Yeah. Oh,
Mav's got this. Don't worry about it, Rummy.
very nice. Woohoo, 27. Get that extra in there. 13. Nice. It's all right. 13 is a partial success. What you Grummy, what you experience here in the kitchens is Mav has an unusual technique, and you spend some time helping him with his technique, and he gets really, really good at it. Unfortunately, because you spent so much time helping him, you fall a little behind what you're comfortable with for you. And so, but you guys definitely get the job done, and you get it done really well. Mav, you didn't think you'd be good at something like this. You don't normally do this type of work, but there's something wonderful about it. It's just precise, like the stroking of a pen, making of, documents and things like that. You got to be precise with that. And so is the butchering of an animal. So it kind of bleeds over. You guys go out to the well, and Thanok, you kind of stand back for a minute, and you're just waiting for Othig to go tumbling into this thing. You're waiting for Goblin Bane to tumble down into the well, gonging the whole way down. And but that's not the way it goes. The well's pretty well lined with rocks, and so it's not, handholds are pretty easy to get, and he just kind of scrambles down and grabs the bucket as you pop back up, and you start to work on the well, the mechanism, and you can fix it. You can definitely fix it, but it's going to need to be replaced eventually. It's just beyond repair at this moment, so it's only really a partial fix. So Sammy will have to buy a new one probably next year. But for now, it works.
All right.
So less shenanigans than I thought there.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So, as you guys are finishing up your jobs, you guys are headed back in from the well. The other two are inside the kitchen cleaning up. There's already a good stew going with the bones and the soup bones to make stock and all that type of stuff for tonight's dinners. And you hear the town alarm bell start going off.
Well, we should probably get out and find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
As an adventurer? Or as a commoner?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an alarm bell. Why is the alarm going off?
True.
We'd
probably
at
go to
least
doctors.
investigate. We may not have the intention of getting involved as commoners, but we would definitely want to know what's going on.
Right on.
Stalkers happen, man.
Yeah.
Right on.
I mean, just alarm doesn't mean like invasion of dragons.
It
could
might.
be just like,
You never
hey,
know.
there's a fire.
You never, ever know. So, I popped open the city map for you guys so you can take a peek at it. And what you're seeing is soldiers emptying out of the garrison, filing in ranks. You see a couple of the Griffin Riders cruising far overhead, heading to the north. And you're seeing soldiers from everywhere else in town running to the north. A handful of them are running to separate buildings, telling everybody to lock the doors or to get inside the bazaar. So, do you guys want to lock the doors and stay in the inn, or do you want to go to the bazaar?
The bazaar is farther away.
The bazaar's across the street, so it's not real far away. But the bazaar looks pretty well defended, although there's not a lot of people here in the inn. So if the inn were to come under attack, there'd be nobody here to protect it.
Let's stay here. We're already here.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys decide to stay in the inn. And so you can hear the sounds of a battle going on outside. You don't know who's doing what.
Are there windows in the inn?
There are very thin slitted windows that you can see out of.
Can we go peek through them?
You sure can. Let me put you guys on the map. That way you can tell me where you want to go to peek through things. So obviously you can see the front door is down here by Othig. The back door is over here by Grummy. And your drinking buddies are right there as well. There are also some other commoners who have fled to the inside of the inn here. So there's not just those guys in there. There's just some regular old Kren dudes hanging out.
Are there any windows on the east side or west side? I mean.
There's windows all around.
Okay.
So as you're looking out the windows, and it seems like a lot of people are now running to the windows, a guard comes into the inn, and she says she's been sent here and stationed here for the duration of the disturbance. But it sounds like a lot more than a disturbance going on outside.
So is she gonna tell us what's going on? Or
She says, I don't know for sure yet, but they're saying it's a rebellion.
I knew you were gonna say dragons.
yeah,
It's dragons.
a rebellion. Who's rebelling?
I don't know. I wasn't sent out of town. I was assigned here. And she sounds really ticked about it.
I would be ticked too if I was you.
So, let's see. Thanok is over there. Thanok, you are looking out the window and you make a perception check for me. There's something moving out there, but it's hard for you to tell. There's a lot of dust kicking up right now. It looks like, I don't know, a half dozen small creatures are scurrying about out in the dust outside of this window, and then you hear several oxen like beller in pain, and the wall you're looking at out of collapses, and creatures come pouring in through the hole in the wall, like basically right on top of you.
Are they goblins?
There is a goblin among them.
Oh!
So
Mount the defenses, men!
So there it is. Then there are some small reptile-like creatures that come scurrying in, and a goblin is with them.
Excellent.
And so now I need you guys to roll.
Goblin for Oath.
I need you guys to roll initiative again. Oh no, that's terrible.
Serious?
All right.
Boom, baby.
So, top of the order is Rakik, who yells, "Ha! It's goblins! They came for you, I think!" And he comes running over here, but he's so plastered he's only got half movement, and then he can get to here, and he throws an empty tankard at one of them. And does he do any damage? He does connect. He nails this kobold number 1 straight in the snout, and that kobold takes a point of damage.
Nice. We're not.
If you hit him in the nose, they'll go away.
We're not still wearing leather armor, are we?
No, you are
We should
not.
not have that.
You
right?
should not have that right now. You actually don't even have any weapons with you right now. You have your workers' tools. Rummy,
I always have my hammer on me.
oh, that's true. You always have your hammer. Rummy has her gear because she's a hunter. So she comes in. She came with her stuff. And so,
I would have a smith's hammer with me.
yep, you might have your smith's hammer. You might have a dagger with you as well that you guys normally would carry, but you wouldn't use.
I don't have a spear.
You do not currently have a spear.
I would throw my spear
Awesome.
to Mav and take my short bow out.
Okay.
Wait, I wouldn't have Filbert's spear with me?
Oh yeah, you would. You'd have his quarterstaff. So
Yeah, so I can give that to Mav.
okay.
Hey,
So you
I got
throw
2
a
spears.
quarterstaff.
Excellent.
Well, one's a quarterstaff. It doesn't have a spearhead on it because somebody's wearing it around their neck.
Doesn't have one yet.
The Filbert. You should put a quarterstaff in your inventory and name it the Filbert.
Well, Well, I'll talk to you about it later.
All right. So, cool. And let's see. Then it is Commoner's number 3's turn. Where's he at? He is this guy right here. He is going to pull a dagger, and he will run over to here, and he will press himself up against the wall for quarter cover with his dagger out. Othig, you're up.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna move as far as I can. I should be able to get to right about there. That's 25 feet, I think.
Yep.
And yeah, that's my turn.
You don't want to use twice your movement? Because you can double dash if you want.
Oh yeah, I could.
Well, not double dash, but you can dash.
Only give me.
I want a triple dash.
Want to get in a go-kart?
Is there something wrong with that dwarf token? Is that?
Yeah, I was noticing that too.
Kobold number
There's-
3.
No, there's two rat kicks, and one of them we can move.
Oh,
Oh,
you should not. I will fix that. Stop moving in.
No. This one that's by the actual mob of guys. It's a kobold token.
kobold
or it's
token.
a dwarf token.
No, it should be a goblin.
you've got
I
kobold,
see the goblin,
kobold,
3
kobold,
kobolds, and
goblin.
then a dwarf token, but it says kobold 3 on it.
That's fine for me.
It's Cobalt 3 is definitely.
Anyway, I would have moved
Huh.
right there then.
They all look normal on my screen.
Wait,
Okay,
Cobalt
that's fine.
3? I don't even have a Cobalt 3. I have Cobalt
Yep,
1,
that's
2.
exactly what I'm seeing. Just what
Oh,
Matt posted.
no. Cobalt 3 is me. I can't move me. Yeah, Cobalt
That's-
3 was on top of me.
Got
That's
it.
what was.
Oh, holy cow!
I didn't realize that he was sitting there. So
Didn't know you
Yeah.
were way over
That's so weird that it turns yellow. With the two, I mean, I guess that makes sense.
yeah,
But it makes it look like an or a
yeah,
neutral.
it
Yeah.
totally did. That was weird. All right, problem figured out.
there. Okay, yeah, sorry for all that confusion.
Not a problem. So let's see. Othig, you run to there. So that's going to be Skog's turn. Skog starts laughing and he says, "Why do they get a load of this?" And he stumbles to here. Lights
What's his name?
Skog.
That's funny.
He lights a rag, shoves it in a bottle of brandy, and hucks it.
Freaking Molotov cocktail.
And I need to make an attack roll. Oh, 19. Solid shot, Skog. And it just nails the goblin straight in the face. Like, take that, you green monster. And the goblin starts screaming as the fire burns on it. And then it is going to spend its turn. It's going to run at Thanok. And it's about to attack you, but it just has to stop and put itself out. So, yep. Let's see. Kobold 3
Did it
here.
take damage at the beginning of its turn as well then?
Oh, it would, wouldn't it? You are correct. So, okay. He's still up, but he's not looking good, that goblin. There we go. So Kobold 3 is going to take a slingshot at Othig. And, oops, I rolled twice. He will smuck you with his sling for 3 points of damage. All right, that's Kren Commoner 1. Where's he at? He's the furthest one away. So he's gonna share the space with this here plant. He is also undercover with his dagger. Kren 4 is this guy. He's gonna run to here. He can get it to here, and he's gonna whip a dagger at that kobold who just shot with his sling, and he will miss, unfortunately. Rummy, you're up.
Rummy works, whatever. She's gonna move uh, so that she can see down this pipeline here. What's my range on?
Should be at least 90. I'm sure you can shoot through
Yeah,
the...
80.
Oh, it's 80. Well, yeah, you can still shoot through the entirety of the end.
I'll yell about these ugly dog men infiltrating our peaceful community. I'll use my bonus action to down a beer off the table and then fire at it.
Nice. Oh, that'll do. Oh, owned.
Nice.
You skewer the kobold. You roll a dirty 20 and then maximum damage with your short bow, and the kobold just goes down. Very nice.
Oh, they're no better than a coyote.
They kind of look at you and yip, yip. All right, so that's going to bring up Mav.
Mav is going to... he's going to take a couple steps forward, kind of peer out from behind the wall here with cover.
Mm-hmm.
He'll address Sammy and say that we can fix that wall, us granitbacks, as he hucks his spear and misses.
Oh, sad day. All right.
Hey, Mike, there's 2 skags as well.
There is, isn't there? We gotta go away, Skog. All right, so Kobold 1 is up, and he is going to use his sling at Othig again. But this one's going to go wide. And Kobold 4 is going to pull out a dagger and attempt to stab Thanik. And he will, and he's going to stab you for 2 points of damage.
Bring it on.
And then the Kren guard is going to come running. And she's like, I get to throw things! And she whips her spear at the goblin and will connect with him. And she pins him to the table with the spear. And he dies. Goblin dead. That's her turn. This last commoner is going to take cover here by this table. Thanak, you're up.
I'm going to take my hammer, kobold number 4, and smack him in the face. For 5.
With authority.
With authority. You're getting it!
He got it.
You did get it. You smucked him. You feel like you almost killed this
No, lame.
guy here. All right. Oh, give me just a sec here. So we go to the top of the round. You hear more noises, and 2 more goblins pour into the hole that was busted open, and 2 goblins kick down the door and come busting in over there. So there are 4 more goblins in this fight now, as this thing. It is definitely a brawl at this point. So, in that, one of the goblins who just came in the door is going to go first, and he's going to go cackling and laughing, and he's going to go dive across the table at commoner number 3, and he's going to swing his scimitar at this guy, but the commoner's ready for it. He heard him coming in the door, and he deflects it with his dagger. All right, so that's going to bring up Rakik's turn. And he's like, there's more! Oh, boy. And he stumbles forward to here, but can't do anything. And then, let's see, commoner 3 is up, and he's going to attempt to stab that goblin back. And he is going to miss. Othig, you're up.
I'm going to do this because I feel like it's what Othig would do and not for any other reason. If it has any residual effects, that's great, but I'm not looking for that.
Okay.
I'm going to charge right up to this goblin. As I cross the table, I'm going to be wailing on my gong. I'm going to grab the closest mug of beer and take an attack and smash it across its face.
All right. Straight up. Do it. Do your thing, man.
I'm assuming you're probably proficient in beer.
Oh,
You
man,
can-
I sure hope I am.
You can roll a 1d4 on this. I will let you do that.
For the mug. of
Yep, for the mug.
beer? Nice. That's a tough mug of beer.
It's a really tough mug. Well, I'm gonna have it. Whatever. 1d4, man. 1d4.
No, that's my hammer.
Oh, that's your hammer.
I wanted
but you
to,
hit
I
up-
wanted to
you
bonus with the mug, if that was okay.
Got it. Okay, well, the mug doesn't do any damage then. But it's very embarrassing to the goblin. And Rakik is like, oh, you're gonna get it now. The goblin bait is here.
Yeah, I was hoping to rally those guys.
So that goblin, that's number 4. He's way down the list here. Goblin 4, 6
I was
damage.
really hoping you had the tavern brawler feat, Rye.
Yeah.
Not yet.
All right.
Wait, why'd that guy disappear?
He was dead. He was unconscious.
Scrub.
I forgot to remove him before.
Scrub.
No, that was the guy that I attacked.
Yeah, you killed him. You must have put
Oh,
him
I
in
did?
the...
Oh, okay, cool.
He was unconscious.
Yeah, you put him into unconsciousness, so he's out of
Oh,
combat.
I get it. I get it.
Yep. Let's see. So that's going to bring up Skog. And he says, well, hey, little goblin, I'm going to get this guy over here. And he runs down this way. And he just diving tackles this goblin, like straight off the table. And yeah, he rolled a 19, so he definitely, the goblin has to make an opposed dexterity check. But yeah, he tackles this goblin off the table, and he's just smushing his face into the carpet. He's like, how you like that? You like it?
He's basically just disrespecting him, is what he said.
Yeah, he's completely disrespecting him. So Kobold 3 is up, and he is going to take an attack at Raki, who just hit him. And he's going to stab him with his dagger for, max damage, 6 points of damage.
Thanks.
So you watch as your drinking buddy, he takes a pretty serious wound here. You don't know if he can take another hit. So let's see.
Got it.
Commoner 1 is going to seize the opportunity here and take his attack with advantage at the goblin that's being pinned on the ground. And he will hit him for 3 points of damage. Goblin number 1 is going to take 3 damage. Let's see. Commoner 4 is this guy here. He is going to come over here and support Othig. He's going to hit that goblin. And that is just enough to kill that goblin that you were beaten on before. So Goblin 4 goes down. And that brings up Rummy.
Rummy's gonna beller at the drunk fat dwarf on the ground. You know, if you didn't pin him, I wouldn't have such a hard time hitting him, and I'll shoot at him.
Oh, that's no good.
Well, it's good to see that Filbert left some residuals.
Let me see that follow-up D20. All right, so your shot goes really wide. It knocks the beer out of Skog's hand, and he's like, "Hey, knock it off! I was gonna make it." Mav, you're up.
Mav is going to make his way down this way and tend to this dude's wounds and restore 5 hit points for him.
All right, that's
Yeah.
yeah. He's looking pretty good. That's helping. All right, Goblin's turn. Goblin 3 is definitely coming after Skog. And you hear it scream, "Get off my friend, you fat dwarf!" And goes to attack him and will hit him. He hits him for 3 points of damage. Skog, oof! Ugh, it's my butt! As the scimitar comes down on his backside. Kobold 1 still can shoot. And he's going to shoot at... Let's see, who's he going to shoot at? Probably the one that they're calling Goblin Bane. That doesn't sound good to him. That's a nat 1 for him.
He's so terrified.
With a follow-up, 8. So he recovers. Goblin 2 is going to run south at Thanek. And
Bring it!
swing with his scimitar, but he's going to go wide.
You'll have to do better than that!
The Kren guard looks at all the dwarves over there and then changes position and heads back this way, seeing that something had just come in the front doors. She thinks you guys got those last 3 under control, and she is going to make an attack at advantage on the one that's pinned to the ground. And she stabs it straight through the head for, yeah, that's enough to put it down. And Skog looks up, he's like, hey lady, you got really nice legs. And she kicks him.
Just start calling her Goblin Bane. She killed 2 of them already.
Alright, and let's see. Kren Commoner 2, where's that guy at? That's this guy over here. He is gonna scooch through into here and take a stab at that kobold just north of him. But he is unfortunately gonna miss. Thanok, you're up.
I am going to... yeah, I'm gonna attack. Swing a hammer at his face. By Muradin's hammer!
Oh, well, that's a 20. Dirty 20 will hit.
That's
Max damage on that goblin. You just
unconscious.
clobber him and he goes down. That was ferocious.
And then I'll move up there.
All right, top of the round. You hear more commotion, unfortunately, over by the door, and more people enter the fight.
Jeez.
And they're not on your side. So,
Ever. I guess often.
I think I need to move you for a second here, Thanok.
Okay.
All right, that's good. And where's the last guy? So, through the front door, 2 huge, brutish dudes come barreling in, yelling and screaming. One of them you recognize to be a half-orc, and the other is a Goliath. He is a huge Goliath. He's about 8.5 feet tall, super well-muscled, and he's carrying the biggest hammer you've ever seen.
Oh, I want it.
It's got a large spike on the back of it, and he looks around the room, and he just starts laughing. And let's see. That's Rakik's turn. And he's like, stop me, you stupid little kobold. And then wildly misses. Yeah, let's see. Commoner number 3 does not necessarily like the look of the guys who just came in the room, but he's going to shift over to here and stab at this goblin. And he's going to connect, and he will do 1 point of damage to goblin number 3.
Hey!
1 point. It all adds up, boys. Othig, you're up.
Swinging.
Swinging. Kobold face. Down.
Yeah.
All right. That puts an end to that guy.
Nice.
I'm gonna move into that spot actually.
Okay. You definitely can. All right.
Oh,
Rakik is
actually,
like...
Can I take that back?
Yeah.
I'm gonna instead move the opposite because we would have seen and heard like everything that was coming in.
Yes.
I'm
But
gonna
you do
move-
see there is a very capable looking elf that just showed up in Thanok's face right outside the inn.
Oh, I'd probably stand.
So,
That's probably stand. All right, I'm gonna keep what I did.
okay. All right. Skog rolls over, gets his large self up off the ground, sees another goblin, and goes to dive on it. That is a dirty 20. Ooh, the goblin almost gets away with a 19 dexterity check, but not enough as Skog belly flops this guy to the ground. He's like, where are you going? And just pins him down to the ground, which brings up Kren Commoner, who is going to take advantage of that and use advantage. And that is enough to hit. And he will hit for 2 points of damage to this goblin pinned on the ground below him. And then commoner number 4. That's... Where's that guy at? That's this guy up here. He runs over here, and he's going to attempt to hit that elf outside. And he stabs the elf for a point of damage, and the elf turns around and stabs him right back.
Oh.
And he kills that guy.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, so we're going to put him down over here in the corner. He's dead.
He hit him that hard?
Straight through the wall, even.
Whoa. Like Superman punched that guy.
Yeah. Grummy, you're up.
Grummy is going to move to this corner here, pulling the table over with to give myself some cover from the table or from the door.
Yeah.
And as I do, I'm going to yell into the other room, when you ladies are done with the dogs in the corner, and I'll make eyes at the elf, I'll say we got some real threats over here, and I'll lay an arrow into the Goliath.
Okay.
I'd probably just bellow something like, "That sounds like a challenge!"
Oh yeah, and I'll say when you ladies are done diddling the dogs in the corner.
So
Doing what to the dog?
Diddling. Playing with them.
Peeing on them, basically.
You know full well what it meant.
I do know what that means.
And then I will use my bonus action to pull the table up as cover, and then throw an arrow at that guy. I miss with a 9.
yeah, you roll it. You take your shot, and it hits him, but it just sticks in him, and it doesn't look like it did any damage to him at all. He just pulls it out and throws it on the ground. And then it's his turn, and so he comes barreling over here, and he is going to take a swing at the commoner who just stabbed the goblin. And he will hit with the backside of his hammer, with the pointy side of his hammer, and the hammer digs straight into that guy's skull, and he just swings through and launches the body. And this body does fly up against the wall over to here, and that guy is now dead. That's commoner number 3. Where's he at? Okay. That's his turn, though. Mav, you're up. You can reach your spear from here, by the way. It's just down kitty corner from you.
It's there.
Yep, right there.
All right, he's gonna pick up his spear, and he's gonna huck it
Nice.
right into the elf.
Very nice. So the elf takes a shot.
And then he's gonna move. Yeah, right about there.
All right. What's up? Goblin 3. He is going to wildly try to attack, but he has disadvantage because he's currently restrained by the dwarf's girth, and he will miss. So the half-orc is up then, and he has had enough of watching that, and he comes over, and he pulls out his great axe and brings it down on Skog, who somehow manages to get his drunken self out of the way.
He's a drunken boxer.
And
Yes.
the orc looks
Master.
really a little upset about that, actually. So the kobold pulls out its dagger and is going to swing at Othig. And he's going to hit Othig for... He stabs you for 2 points of damage right in the gut. And then it's the elf's turn, who is going to swing at Thanok. And he is going to actually miss you.
Wow.
Yep, I rolled a 2 on the dice, so that's not so hot. So the Kren guard's up,
Punching through everything all the time.
and the Kren guard runs over and puts herself right there, circling around the Goliath, and stabs at the half-orc. And she skewers him pretty solidly.
Nice.
Oh, no, wrong dice. Same result, same damage. So skewers him pretty solidly for about 7 points of damage. And the half-orc just kind of smiles at her. Commoner number 2 is this guy up here. He's going to take a stab at that kobold. Yeah, get him, commoners. These guys were way more effective than I expected them to be. I've rolled really well with them. So he stabs him for another 1 point of damage. Little by little.
Little by little.
Thanok, you're up.
I'm gonna try to grab this elf.
Okay. Make a strength roll.
Oh, that's terrible. Terrible.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
The elf just kind of steps to the side and slaps you on the head. Says, no touching.
Nope. What's this? Oh, never mind.
Okay.
That's it.
Racket goes, I'm coming to help you, Hammerman. And he wanders over here and he's going to take a crack at the elf. And he will miss. Let's see. This commoner still gets advantage on that goblin. Oh, no, he's dead. Never mind. He gets advantage on nothing. It selected him. Othig, you're up. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No, the kobold makes it another round.
All right.
All right, so Scott goes, hey, why are you trying to get me with your axe? And then he takes out a bottle and shoves it right in the goblin's mouth as hard as he can, and it shatters on him. And he does 4 points of slashing damage to this goblin.
Oh my gosh.
It's goblin 3. And that's enough to kill that goblin. That goblin chokes on the bottle and dies.
Yeah.
Guys, if we ever start like new commoner characters, I'm just grabbing stuff out of like a bar. I'm not even messing around with like quarterstaffs and spears and crap.
You have a feeling like these two jokers might have the tavern brawler feat.
Yeah, probably.
So, let's see. That brings us to the one Kren commoner who is alive and doesn't like what's going on. So he's going to run down over here by this guy's body and pick up his dagger and whip it at the Goliath. But he wanted to put a little distance between himself, but it goes wide. And this guy's dead, so Grummy, you're up.
I will just take another shot at the Goliath.
That'll hit.
20 to hit.
Yep, dirty 20 will hit for sure. You
Only
don't hit him
one,
hard.
but
He looks up at you and he says, I'll leave that one in. And then it's his turn. And he is going to turn and attack the guard. And he's going to hit her pretty solidly. You watch as a spray of blood comes out of her mouth as he nails her with the flat side of the hammer. Just catches her chin. But she took it like a champ. Mav, you're up.
Mav, being ever so daring, that he rarely is. I think 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Then I get to there. Grab Filbert's spear
Nice.
and wallop him right in the back.
Oh, you stick
Yeah.
him good. You stick him real good. All
you
right.
just hear in your mind Filbert always saying that the stick is always better than the pointy part.
All right, so this half-orc, seeing what the Goliath did, has decided to take a swing at the guard as well. Perhaps seeing her as the bigger threat.
Can we just have Filbert follow us around like Obi-Wan?
But she deflects it with her shield and levels her spear at him and says, I'll get to you, patience. And Kobold's turn, who is going to attempt to stab Othig again. And miss. Yep, miss. All right. And that's going to bring us to our elf, who's going to take a crack at Thanok, who's going to hit for 7 points of damage.
No.
That's not enough to put him down. Unless he's taking damage.
He has taken 2 points of damage, but it's still not enough to put him down. So, is Adam gone? Adam.
He was so distraught by the fact that you killed off Filbert. He had.
Where did he get that extra health from? I forgot.
He's got a point in con.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Well.
Can you guys hear me at all?
We can now.
okay.
Yes.
Okay. Jeez, I didn't disconnect, but everything just turned off.
Oh.
How much was I hit by?
You were hit for 7.
Jeez. Okay. Is it my turn now?
It is no, it's the Krengard's turn.
Okay.
I got really worried when you were gone, so I stopped doing stuff.
Okay.
And
I
she's
just
gonna
got hit so hard I went unconscious.
stab that half-orc again. She gets him good this time for almost 9 points of damage. So where's he at? Where's my half-orc at? Just went. All right. That is gonna push the half-orc into bloodied. Commoner. Where's this guy? This guy over here. Kobold time. Come on. Nat 20, baby.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he just leans in on this kobold and he's like, I've had enough, and he just grabs his dagger right through this kobold's throat and then lifts up into his chin and yanks it out, and this kobold's jaw comes off on one side, and he's like, ha! And the kobold's dead. Danik, you're up.
I'm gonna try to grab him again. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! You gotta be kidding me!
That's real bad.
Jeez.
Maybe you should stop trying to do that
I know. Well, it's
and do something you're actually good at.
Well, yeah. I rolled a 13 on the d20, but it's not showing you when you roll it again.
He is good at it.
No, that's fine. But he does grab you, and he actually uses your momentum to throw you outside the inn.
Okay.
So you're outside, and then moves into here. Like, it did some sort of like swaparoo spot thing.
Okay. Some Aikido nonsense.
Yeah, something like that. And Rakik is like, oh, holy crap, you were there a second ago. And then he goes to stab her. Nat 20.
Nice.
And so he picks up the potted plant right next to him and just whaps him right across the jaws with the pot side of it. For 8 points of damage on that elf.
Yeah, buddy.
Potted plant.
Dude, have you seen some of these potted plants people have?
I mean, it's almost as big as him, so.
Yeah, it's big. It's like a mini palm tree. He just palm treed her right in him right in the face.
Freaking awesome.
Oathig, it's your turn.
No, not success with the hammer. Nope, sorry.
No.
Not happening.
Nope, it's not. All right, so
distraught by the palm tree.
This thing is so awesome. Like, I couldn't even believe it. I was like, even if I hit, like, I can't do anything as awesome as that right now.
So Skog is gonna move over to here. He doesn't want to be next to that Goliath and the orc, and he is gonna attempt to grapple the orc, and he's not gonna do it. The orc does that thing where he just puts out his hand, and Skog's like, it's on Skog's forehead, and Skog's trying to grab him, and it's real bad. All right, and the commoner here is going to whip his second dagger at the Goliath. That's going to connect. That's a 19 on the dice. And so he's going to connect for max damage, 4 points of damage against the Goliath. Grummy.
Just gonna keep standby attack.
All right. Yeah.
15 to hit.
All right. That's a good shot. You sink a good one into him, and he now looks heavily wounded as well. And he's looking around, and he's not liking what he's seeing.
I'm just gonna yell, "Whoa there, big fella!"
All right. He looks at you, spits, and he is going to charge you.
I have a table in the way.
I don't think the Goliath cares about that. Do I get an attack of opportunity?
You definitely do get an attack of opportunity. So does the guard. That'll hit.
Woo!
And the guard is going to miss hers, unfortunately. And so he's going to bring his hammer down on you
I don't like that.
for 5 points of damage as
I'm unconscious.
he just lays into Rummy, and then he roars in triumph. You're unconscious?
Did I get advantage from any type of cover? Yeah, you hit me before with the squirrel.
Oh, that's right. I totally hit you.
We just lost Adam.
Oh.
I'm more worried about Tony dying again.
Yeah, well,
2 characters in a week.
So,
Jeez.
he mounted the table. So,
okay.
yeah, he has 40 movement, and so I almost didn't get to you because of the table.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So,
I'm unconscious under a table.
all right, Mav.
Well, he's going to step here. And he's going to heal for 7 points of health.
The guard.
The guard.
Nice.
And then 15 step there.
All right. So the half orc is going to critically hit the guard with his battle axe. Oh, dude. That's almost maximum damage with that great axe of his. That's a 12 and an 11 on the dice.
Oh.
Yeah. The guard is still up, though. However, she just took it hard. Let's see. The elf is going to take a swing at that commoner in front of her. He is definitely going to hit. I keep calling her a she. I think because the icon's a girl, but it's a dude elf for sure. But she is going to put an end. He is going to put an end to that commoner. And that was commoner number 2, who goes down. The guard is going to scooch over to here and whip a spear at the Goliath, seeing that he is threatening Rummy, who's down, and she's going to hit him. Oh, she's got to do that at a disadvantage because the orc is there. All right, still hit. Nice. And she's going to connect for another 7 points of damage, and that is not enough to drop him. But he looks like... Oops, I did accidentally kill him. He looks like he's on his last leg. Who's up? Commoner 2 is dead. Thanik, you're up. And Thanik is gone. We lost him. Internet dropped completely. Just have me charge the elf and smack him this time. The text message I got from Adam.
That's so great. I love it.
Okay, so Thanik comes roaring back in from behind on the elf, and where's the hammer? Blacksmith's hammer. Will connect for maximum damage. Very nice.
Yay.
Like,
We need to just have him not here. He does so
Yeah,
much
just
better.
have him disconnect more often.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just kick him from the channel.
just kick him from the channel. Let me tell Adam, hit for max damage.
Be like, hit for max damage. Take
I
your
just,
time.
the text I just sent him said mac damage, not max. Hit for mac damage.
Max truck damage.
All right. That's the top of the round. Nothing else shows up this round. So,
Because I don't think we
Oh,
can.
darn.
okay.
Kind of you.
Rakik looks at the elf.
Bring it.
Rakik looks at the elf and says, I think you're bleeding. And then hits her with the stump of the tree. For only 2 points of damage.
Oh. That's unfortunate.
Let's see. This guy's dead. Othig, you're up.
Alright, trying the hammer again. Yes! I knew it! I
So,
freaking knew that.
You
would
managed to roll a 21, but you only hit for 2 points of damage.
happen. Yep.
As you caress the hair, as you wind.
Alright, so Skog comes running over and throws himself on top of Rummy. The orc is going to get an attack of opportunity and miss. And so, Rummy, you are currently being covered by a fat dwarf.
I don't know that.
You don't. Let's see, we got this commoner left who's going to scooch over here, pick up his dagger, and whip it at the orc. Adam connected, and he is going to miss the orc. Rummy, please make a death saving throw.
On it.
Yay, success.
Succeed.
Very nice. And let's see, that's going to bring up the Goliath, who's going to take a swing at his new target and connect for...
He has advantage in case you didn't.
Yeah. He's going to also knock Skog unconscious as well.
It's good.
Mav, you're up.
I'm back.
Nice.
Oh. Filbert failed me.
Oh.
In life as in death.
This may not go well.
What map are we on, by the way?
Oh, let me reshare it.
Maker's Palm Rest.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got it? Cool.
Yep.
All right, the half-orc hits the guard, and she is going to take 4 points of damage. That's minimum damage I could do. She's still up. She looks like if she gets breathed on, she's going down, though.
I have a real quick question. Did I get healed at all?
Nope.
No.
Okay. It didn't take the damage that I took before. Like it reset it for some reason.
You still have
Okay.
9 damage.
I just said it now. It
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
2.
All right, the elf turns on Skog, who's been beating her with the plant, and critically misses. She's a girl now. I can't stop it.
I think we.
Isn't it Rakik over there?
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Yep,
Rakik is-
it is. Yeah, it is Rakik. Rakik. And so, yeah, the elf critically misses, manages to recover, very unsure of himself. And it's the guard's turn, who turns on the orc and says, I was going to save you, but runs her spear through him for max damage. And that is going to kill him.
Where is Skag? Because on my map, he's underneath.
Yep, because they are both dead in the same square, or unconscious in the same square.
Wait, Rummy too?
Yep,
Yeah.
Oh
I actually went
no!
on first.
yep.
Yeah, dude charged the table and came down with the hammer. He brought the hammer down.
He did.
And then the guard is going to use her movement to run over here and challenge the Goliath. The
I
commoner.
was challenging the Goliath.
That's cool. You
No, I
can.
want to challenge the Goliath.
Thanak, you're up.
All get our.
I
Hold
want to
on,
challenge Goliath.
hold on 1 second. Hold on. Hello?
Coney's like,
Yeah,
I
had to
came,
reset
I hid, I lost.
No. Okay, wait. Sorry. Hello.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Hello.
Sorry,
Hello.
yeah, my dad was calling me. So I'm gonna go smack the elf again.
No.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me! I should have you roll.
Yeah, I get max
That's what
damage.
we've been saying.
Yeah, jeez.
All right, so a 5 will
Whiff.
definitely miss the elf. And that will bring us back to the top of the round. Rakik's up. And he says, I really don't like you. And he misses with the tree. And let's see, that guy's dead. Othig, you're up.
Hammer. No.
Oh man.
Nope. So, let's see, Skog's down. This guy is not down. He grabs his dagger, and he's going to move into a little bit better angle and give it a whip. Nat 20
Nice.
Dude.
for pretty solid
Pretty solid.
damage.
Guys, we're being outclassed by commoners.
We are commoners.
Oh, yeah.
Goliath is still up. Rummy, I need another death save from you.
But are we like the unique
Oh,
That's
set
all
of commoners? I feel like probably not in this case.
right.
I cough up some blood.
how many death saves are you at?
1 and 1.
2.
101.
Jeez. Okay.
Yep, so let's see. Goliath turns around and brings his hammer down pointy side on the Krengard, who cannot get her shield up in time. And he puts her to the ground in a bloody heap.
Is she dead or just unconscious?
She's dead. Mav.
Oof.
Mav, bringing the pain!
Oh, you
Critical
have
hit.
Nice, nice, nice.
I always told you that the quarterstaff is just better than the spear. Were you using that two-handed or one-handed, Mav?
I'm only using it one-handed.
Oh, okay. You should
I
use
don't
the
know.
two-handed.
I don't know that I'm proficient with the two-handed.
It's a quarterstaff. It's just versatile.
Yeah, so,
Well,
all right. Yeah, it
but,
doesn't matter. So you kill the Goliath rebel. He drops to the ground, roaring. And as he dies, he's like, at least I killed that woman. Adam, did we lose you again? Holy cow, we did.
Oh, dang.
Dang.
Tuesday.
Yep, Tuesday. That'll be
I
over
think I'm
for him.
back.
Yep, good. You're back.
Oh, there you are.
Okay. Jeez, whose turn is it?
It is the rebel's turn, who is going to attack Rakik. Oh, I got to roll a saving throw for Skog.
Adam, I see the post that you made like 10 minutes ago about hating your internet.
Yeah.
Guys, I just critically failed my death save for Skog.
Oh no.
Awesome.
Yep.
Is he unconscious still?
He is still unconscious. Next round, he will make another
He's
one.
at two,
He's at 2.
fails.
2 fails. Let's see. So the elf rebel is going to attack Rakik. That's a crit. Dang, I just went from a 1 to a... that's too bad for Rakik. He's not going to be looking too good here. Oh, gosh. Like, I need a snipping tool on this. It's so... Yeah.
Silly.
Well, I went from, like, a critical fail for a death saving throw to a critical hit with the elf to max damage with the elf
On who?
on Rakik. So it's not one of you guys, but
Ryan's friends are meant to die today.
these poor guys are just not doing good because he's definitely down.
Yeah.
So down he goes, and I'm gonna put Skog down too, officially.
He's just unconscious.
He is dying. I suppose the Krengard is dying too. Yeah. They're allies. They're just dying. The commoners are straight dead. Krengard makes her first death saving throw. And Thanik, you're up.
All right. I'm super pissed now, so I'm gonna hit her.
You do.
Hit her. I'm gonna kill her.
Nope.
No.
No.
Nope. Nope. No death. No death there. Let's see. Rakik's turn for a death saving throw. That's a fail.
Jeez.
Othig, you're up.
Alright, this really needs to connect.
Yeah. Yes.
That's gotta be like the minimum.
Trusty.
Gosh, go down already.
Yeah.
It's like, if I would have had like even 1 point in the 5 failed
Still
hits,
up.
like she probably would be dead.
Here's make it or break it moment for Skaggy. You guys, I just rolled a nat 20.
I knew it. I was like, he's gonna roll a nat 20. I knew it.
I totally did. That's amazing. That's so great.
Pops up swinging.
He wakes up, he's like, oh, who's not gonna hit? And he's like, oh, hey, guy. And this commoner runs in to here. He can make it to there, which is dagger range. And give it a whip. He's going to connect. Is he going to kill it? He is not. The elf, though, looks real bad.
The elf looks like a lich.
Yep. Grummy, death save, please.
Oh.
All right. 2 fails, 1 save. Mav, you're up.
You know, I suppose. You got 5 hit points.
All right. Grummy is stabilized and gets 5 hit points back on Mav's turn. You gonna use your movement at all?
Yeah, probably. 2, 5. And then we're good.
All right. Elf's turn. She is going to attack Thanak. He is, she is. That's whatever.
They are.
Thanak, you are stabbed for 3 points of damage.
Alright, I am unconscious.
Thanak goes down.
No!
Krengard makes a second saving throw. That's a success. So she is sitting at 1 and 1. And Thanak, death saving throw, please.
Oh,
Fail.
jeez.
Fail. Rakik needs to make his next death saving throw. That's a success. So he's 1 and 1. Othig. Come on, Hammer. No Hammer.
Oh my gosh.
No Hammer. Man, I really wanted you to bring this home.
Let the commoner do it.
This is silliness.
Yeah, he's out of daggers, so he's got to run in actually now. And
What's Skog doing?
Oh yeah, what is Scott? He's gonna stumble in. He's gonna use all of his movement to climb over this table and get over to here. I forgot.
Oh, is the Goliath down?
Yes.
Does Skog get to make an action at all or no?
No, he dashed.
He dashed and only made it 20 feet.
His movement
He's
is
super
half
drunk.
because of how drunk he is.
Get him, buddy. He took a nap.
All
He
right.
took a dwarven power nap. He's fine.
Kren Commoner picks up a dagger off the floor and misses. Rummy, your turn.
She will get to her feet and just kind of step into the room here and just say, you guys still haven't taken care of and attack the elf.
Oh
Yay.
no. Way to go, Big Mouth.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I have rolled more natural ones in this game than I have in any other playing game.
It's been pretty bad. Like, you notice as you go to take this shot, this is what distracts you, is that along the way, Skaggy picked up another pint of ale, and you shoot it out of his hand, and he's like, knock it off! I need it! I really do.
So I shot the ale out of his hand again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Mav, you're up.
I'm afraid he won't be able to move it all if he drinks more. So I'm trying to help.
Mav is gonna yell to Grummy to help the guard.
What do you want me to do? I take things apart, not fix them.
Stabilizer. You can do that.
Sure, on a dog, but not on.
And you can get 5 health as well, Thanik.
That's so... Andy, I don't think you've rolled more than a 1 on your health kit all night.
The guard I did quite well.
Oh, that's right, you did.
Yeah.
Kept her
Alright.
alive for a little while.
So that does bring up the elf, who, seeing you doing healing, is going to take... No. Seeing herself completely surrounded, he is going to drop a smoke pellet and attempt to dash from the room. You guys can take attacks of opportunity at her. We'll start with whoever's next in initiative as he busts through the room and takes off.
Thanik.
Oh, jeez.
Thanik first, then me.
Yeah. You moved him right as I dropped the dice.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me!
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
We are all going to miss him. Jeez.
Yeah!
Oh.
Freaking 1.
All right, so the elf stumbles out of its square and actually collapses to the ground right there instead. I thought you were all going to miss. It was...
Yeah.
And then as that happens, Skog comes running over and throws himself on top of her. I got her!
Oh my gosh. This is so ridiculous.
I'm gonna shoot the ale nearest Skog.
Oh. So let's see, what's going on here?
I'm going to stabilize Rakik
Okay.
if he survives.
And
I'll
Rummy.
stabilize the Kren guard, I guess.
Okay.
Or I'll attempt to. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yep. Raki will definitely spend another. He made that saving throw, so you'll have a chance to stabilize him. And then I need a medicine check from Rummy.
Actually, I think you need one for me too, because the healer kit I can't use on him anymore.
Oh, you can't. That's true.
It is evident that Rummy has no idea how to resuscitate a person. She's just kind of stepping on the Kren guard's chest.
Just
All right.
punching her in the chest.
No, definitely stepping on it.
Oh.
Like both feet, like, breathe.
Okay, well, here's what happens with the Kren guard. You're stomping on her chest, and she makes another death saving throw and fails. So, Mav could start running over there, but can't make it to her in time to get to her next death saving throw, which she will have to make, but rolls a nat 20.
God.
I'm just gonna look at Mav and say, see, I fixed it.
She sits up and she spits up blood in a couple of teeth, and she goes, "Quit kicking me!"
I saved your life.
Oh.
I was just waiting for like another Kren guard to walk in to see Rummy jumping on and killing the other Kren soldier,
I can get hauled away.
and then she gets marked as a traitor. And
Yeah,
killed.
being an enemy of the state.
And we have another funeral next week.
Yeah, for real.
I think I would just stop playing.
Tony would begin to suspect that I actually didn't want him to play on Thursdays. Wow. This is terrible. So yeah, there's blood everywhere. But you managed to save your two military buddies, and the Kren guard and one commoner survived the encounter. That's pretty good.
I would like to loot the
That was
elf.
hopeless. We were rolling hopelessly too. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was. They were pretty terrible rolls.
Mav is going to grab the nearest tankard of ale and start drinking.
Yeah, there's.
For real.
Yeah.
We're
It's-
flying around.
You're looking around and you're wondering why all these tankards of ale are just out and about. And then you look at the other two guys and they're just wandering from table to table drinking, and you realize they must have been buying these and setting them down all day.
And then forgetting
Just-
that they had one.
Right. And they ended up at that table and finished a few, but they're just everywhere. And so they sit back down and they start talking again. They're like, "You remember that time that Goblin Bane killed that elf lady in the face?" and they're just like they're laughing and having a good time. It's almost like it didn't happen for these two. As
It's just a
you're
drunk fever.
as you're wrapping up, a small contingent of Krench soldiers does come into the inn, seeing that there's been an attack on the resting house, and sees that the assailants are all dead, that the guard is still alive, and that you guys are up and functional as well. And they ask for a report. And so the guard says, well, comes up, gives her a report of what went on, and says, these dwarves were actually extraordinarily instrumental in leading the defense of the inn. They rushed into the opening and fought off many foes. And she says that one over there, they cheered the entire fight. Goblin Bane, they say his name is. I believe he's the head of this ragtag group of common dwarves. But if it were not for their intervention and the fat one rolling over on all the goblins, I don't
Seriously, every freaking target.
I don't know if I would have made it. And I was like, oh, very well. And so they secure the inn. You come to find out that there was, and they don't know where it came from, but a huge army of rebels, mostly made up of off races, ex-runaway slaves and races that the Kren consider inferior, attacked the town. And while they were attacking the town, outside of the town, several groups of goblins and others, kobolds, goblins, orcs, raided several of the buildings in town for supplies. They didn't kill a lot of people, but they killed enough and took off into the hills. But they find what happened here to be a little odd, because there were obviously rebel lieutenants in with this mess, and they didn't see anything like that anywhere else.
Huh.
You mean rebel lieutenants in with us in this fight?
That attacked you guys, yeah. The elf, the half-orc, and the Goliath. They're saying are lieutenants. They were obviously tougher and in command of this group, but that didn't show itself anywhere else.
Interesting.
So, you guys were involved in this battle. You can claim weapons and trophies from these goons.
Want the hammer?
It's a mall. It's a standard mall. It looks really
I
cool.
Want the ball. I want the ball.
It's a mall.
What all weapons were there?
The half-orc was using a battle axe, a great axe, excuse me. The Goliath was using the maul, and the elf was dual-wielding scimitars. All of the goblins had scimitars, and the kobolds had daggers and swings, but they're pretty shoddy. They're not the type of thing that would even fetch much coin. You could gather stuff up and sell it for coin, but you won't get a lot from their stuff. All three of the others, though, had on studded leather armor, which would be a significant upgrade for you guys.
Oh, I'm definitely taking one of those.
Yeah, let's take the armor.
Grummy can have the armor as well. I'm gonna grab
Thank you.
some of the slings and a lot of the bullets
Okay,
and the scimitar.
sounds good.
Would I be proficient with scimitars or no?
Nope.
Okay, perfect.
I mean, at this
What about
point,
the sling?
collecting these weapons are basically they're trophies. They're not real
Oh.
weapons.
And
There's
you need that quarterstaff back as well.
yeah, Thanok is not proficient in a maul in using
Can
a maul.
I be? I mean, I have my weapon master thing that I haven't.
Oh, that's true. You do have
I
your
did
weapon.
say- I did say
does he
the
get
only
to
thing
just,
that I
like,
would.
retroactively make one of those for that one.
I said a while ago that the only thing that I would actually want to be proficient in was was a mall.
That's true. I do remember you saying that. Yeah, absolutely. In this case.
Okay,
Yep. So
sweet. Hot dog.
Am I proficient with the sling or no?
no,
Okay. Excellent.
the kobolds have more proficiency than you. Actually, they probably don't. They attack
But
it.
we don't have proficiency in simple ranged.
Nope. You have proficiency with a dagger and a spear.
And mine was different because I was a hunter. Right?
Correct. It's not like you guys can't use them. You just don't get your proficiency bonus with them.
It's a straight up D20.
Yeah. It looks like Mav is very proficient with his scimitar as he rolls a critical hit on nothing. You also, as a boon, you did manage to capture that elf alive. You knocked it unconscious. It's not dead.
Hey!
Oh yeah.
The Empire is very happy about that, taking a lieutenant.
I bet they are. That was all my skill.
Yeah. So, let's see. There is after the battle and the fight calms down, the town doesn't really get back to normal. The day was won. You think, like the fighting was victorious, but the rebels made off with a lot of goods. They raided the blacksmith in town, and that blacksmith, it's not like your guys' blacksmithing where you fix homes and sharpen things. This was a professional blacksmith that kept the military outfitted. So they made off with a huge haul of weapons and armor. A lot of the stores of food stuff. You might think, based on what happened here today, that the delivery of food came today. That might have been what they were after here. Was months worth of food and rations. But nobody knows yet. They might know more once they question the elf. But a lot, the army suffered some pretty serious losses over this whole business. But the day was won. So do you guys want to do anything else here at the inn?
Yeah,
I'm
I
going to
would.
start evaluating the damage to the walls and send the innkeeper friend a quote.
Yep,
I
I was actually
was-
thinking that exact same thing.
I was thinking tangentially that we should leave our card with the army so that we could use like our blacksmithing skills to replace whatever was
supplement.
lost. Yeah.
You comment on the commoner. Isn't the bartender dead?
The bartender is not dead. He had taken his family upstairs and locked them in a room and was guarding the room.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Well, in that case, I'm going to smash a couple chairs.
What?
It's just more money. There was a fight in here. Obviously, they got broken in the fight.
No. No.
I assume you're breaking them earlier, not like right now.
Like, because everybody's watching you right now.
Yeah.
Sure, earlier.
I would also write a bill for our defense services.
Oh, okay. You go
Okay,
ahead and do that. That is the most stealthy chair smashing I've seen in a long time. It was a dirty 20. That's like, you keep hearing this crashing sound coming from the other room, and every time you look over, there's one less chair standing sitting next to Rummy.
I think
dirty than
I'm
anyone
actually
knows.
just stepping on the support leg of all of the chairs that Skog sits in.
So
He just keeps breaking chairs and doesn't understand why they keep breaking.
yeah. Okay, so you guys, you make some estimates for the repairs. You make contact with the local garrison and offer your blacksmithing services to help refortify the armories, that type of stuff, and give an estimate for the wall and some of the other repairs here at the inn, which is gladly paid for, as well as a bonus for defending the inn. So yeah, defense bonus comes into play. You guys do a good bit, and what next?
Hey,
Can we go check on our clan to make sure that they're alive?
You might want to do that.
Yeah, I was thinking that, and then would we know like what the process is for the Empire? Like after they question that elf, are they gonna like probably find out whatever they can and probably send a detachment after the raiders? Is that like what we would imagine happen? Or is
That's
that-
in your minds, probably that is the most likely outcome of this. Is they'll interrogate the elf for information, find the whereabouts of the rebel camp, and then go take it out.
Okay.
So you guys head back to your clan, which is safe. They were attacked. They defended themselves very well. There are a lot of very capable people in your clan. And they suffered no losses except for the provisioners, Vardo, which was stolen. And that had all your money in it. Well, not all of it, but most of it. Because Oren put that 5 gold from Filbert in a box in his house.
Awesome.
Oh, okay.
So we're broke now?
You are broke.
Grummy.
Not just broke, you're in trouble. This is...
Is
We
this,
have debts to pay, and
Do
we
you-
have.
do you mean the 5 gold that we have on our person is gone?
No.
Or do you mean the granite back?
The granite back bank is gone.
Okay. That's
The bank
problematic.
would grant it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're granite broke.
First National Granite Back Bank is
We
gone.
didn't keep our money in an actual bank. We kept it on us.
Mobile.
Yeah, we'd have to keep it on us.
Yeah, you're a mobile clan. There'd be no other way to do it.
I figured with the ranking of clans that there would be some central bank.
There are some investments that in deals and things that the granite backs have out, but as far as the regular cash flow and all the money you've made here and at your last stop, that's gone.
Oof.
So the clan is very obviously sullen about that. It leaves them in a very not good position. So the news of your success in town, the defense of the inn, and some other things that you're getting paid for, that's pretty good news, but it's not enough to offset the loss of the provisioners wagon, because all your food, your water, everything is gone. And as you guys are going over this, a rider comes into town, or into the caravan. It's a very well-dressed, armor-wise. It's a fully armored Kren soldier, but by the nature of his armor, the ornateness of it, this is a very high-ranking military person. He, you would recognize him as a lieutenant major. So he's up there, and he asks where the defenders of the inn are.
I'd raise my hand.
Yeah, that'd be us.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'd answer that they already left and took the one survivor. I feel like I wouldn't identify. I feel like as commoners we wouldn't identify ourselves as.
Okay, so you're not attempting to deceive him. You're just attempting to act humbly.
Yeah, like more ignorantly than anything. Like, because I feel like we're commoners. Like, we're not like heroes or anything.
The Beetle Smasher is not a hero.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. We don't actively walk around thinking we're just commoners.
That's true. So
We walk around going, "Hey, we just killed that dude." I mean, I feel bad, but did you see how big that guy is?
yeah, this would be a
Yeah,
very
I
like
suppose there'd probably be some-
shocking experience for you. You haven't had to kill people yet, and you just killed a lot of beings, even though they were garbage beings. You know, kobolds and
Garbage beans.
Elves.
elves. It's still like, wow, these guys could have talked to me if they.
No, we didn't kill people.
Yeah, they killed garbage. You start to answer, but you answer oddly, like Othig did. A couple of you are like, "Are you talking to us?" And he opens up a scroll and he says, "I have a summons for Othig, Goblin, Bane, and company."
Okay, at that I would hop up on the table and like exclaim.
You're the one. You're the one who led the defense of the inn.
I wouldn't say lead.
No,
See
he
how
totally
badly
led
he
it.
did?
He totally
I would
led.
probably shoot him some comment about how we saw that rabble start trouble in the inn and we took it. Like that's probably how I would answer.
Very good. Very good. You've been reinstated in your rank in the militia as corporal. Please grab your contingent and follow me.
Hot dog! This is great.
So,
What have you just done to me?
I am so about this.
so you gonna follow him?
Oh yeah. Dude, I'm like right on his heels.
So,
Can we also retcon in that that Thanik also likes to smoke stogies? Because I feel like that's what he'd be doing now.
sure, we can retcon that in.
Okay, cool.
So you're smoking your stogie. Everybody else is going. Grummy doesn't look real happy about this.
No, you haven't been reading what I've been messaging you.
Oh, I have not. Oh, are you happy
Grummy
about this?
Grummy would actually be excited about this, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Grummy had intentions to stay in the military, but got a slight injury that she didn't think was that bad and was forced out.
He was
Oh.
dishonorably discharged.
No, medically
No,
discharged. Medically
Dwarves
discharged.
Discharged.
Oh, well,
Dwarves only die or are in perfect health.
glad that works out for you all then. So you guys are led back to the town square. Several of the dwarves from the clan come along, Orin included. He has his sweet, like, bronze sleeve over his stump right now. Looks really cool. And you guys are led up onto a platform, and you are given medals for the defense of town. There's several other people here that played instrumental parts in other places, but you guys are given a great honor, and Othig is re-given the rank of corporal in the militia. And I think that's where we'll stop.
Very nice.
Oh, Othig, you are also given back your military shield and spear.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Sword and board.
Yep, so that's where we'll stop for tonight, guys.
Very nice.
Right.
Awesome.
Good times.
Some of it made you guys cry. So
Jeez.
Well, fortunately, it was at the beginning, so I feel like we ended on the high note.
yep.
So does that move us to Commoner Class 4?
It does move you to Commoner Class 4.
Yeah.
Nice.
What do we get now?
Ability score improvement.
Yeah, you do.
Do we have to take that as commoners, right? That's not like where we're not at commoners, and you can trade that for.
Correct.
Like, yeah, you have to
Yeah.
take that ability score.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so before we jump offline, though, I want to talk about, I know next week Andy can definitely not be here next week.
Correct.
So I will cook up something in the next couple of days and let you guys know what it is. We'll play something different. We'll run a one shot or something.
Okay.
Oh, goody.
But the Thursday after, I know, is up in the... Oh, I got the hiccups all of a sudden. That's stupid. Let me stop the recording. I'm hiccuping right into the microphone.